in Calcutta at Eden Gardens on Calcutta Cup Day in the rugby. It's time for England against Scotland in the northeast of India, in Calcutta, in a game which has a huge amount of significance for both of these sides' hopes of qualification for the Super 8 phase. England, of course, beat Nepal by 4 runs before that 30-run defeat to West Indies. It's left them having played 2, won 1 and lost 1. Same scenario for Scotland. They lost their opener to the West Indies by 35 and then scored 207 for 4 in a 75-run win over Italy. So, which way is this one going to go? These sides have only ever met once before in a T20 international, and that was curtailed with Scotland flying in Barbados when the rain came. There is a lot riding on this game, a lot to look forward to, and we'll go through it all in the company of Stephen Finn and Kirsty Gordon in just a moment. But let's head to the middle for the toss, the two captains alongside Nasser Hussain.
Big day of sporting action between these two nations. Calcutta Cup rugby later, Kolkata cricket now in the World Cup. The captains are ready, Ranjo Madigali is ready. Harry, if you could get the coin, please.
Thank you.
Give it a spin, please, Harry.
Tails.
Tails is a call. Heads it is, England.
We'll have a bowl, please. Thank you.
Harry, you've won the toss. What are you going to do and why?
We're going to have a bowl. We just fancy chasing. Quite a quick outfield, and it's meant to be a good wicket.
What do you make of that pitch, first sight of it?
I'm not a curator, but it looks like a decent wicket, so hopefully we can restrict them to as few as possible and then chase it down.
As ever, with both Test match cricket and white ball cricket, you named your side yesterday. Why do you do that? What is the positive in doing that?
Just to give each of the team, a bit more clarity, knowing that they're going to be playing and they can prepare better the day before.
Your team is unchanged. What did you make of that West Indies performance? What area would you like to improve on?
I think we were a little bit too careful with the bat chasing. I feel like we could have taken a bit more aggressive options and looked to take it to them a little bit more, and hopefully we can improve on that today.
Not the first time you've been asked this question. You're such a fine player. Are you wasted at 5? Could you be higher up?
Look, we've spoken about that a lot, and Tom Banton's an amazing player of spin and the way that he can score runs throughout the middle and at the top. So look, I'll go out there and do whatever all I can do for the team, and hopefully we can have a good day again.
You know from Barbados and how they've played in this tournament, Scotland not a side to be taken lightly.
No, definitely not. And they're a good side. They've had a decent start as well, and they know the conditions here, having played 2 games already.
Go well, Harry.
Thank you. Cheers, Richie.
Richie, you've lost the toss. What would you have done?
We're probably going to have a bat first, but I think that the toss here shouldn't make too much difference.
What do you make of this pitch? You have played here. Is it any different from the other surfaces?
It looks pretty similar, to be honest. It's obviously been really good for us to get a feel of conditions here, playing the last couple of games. So I think in general it has been quite a good batting track. I think the key is probably going to be how we play spin in that middle period.
Is it a slight advantage that you have played here, or do you just expect England to hit the ground running?
Yeah, look, we're obviously up against a very good team. I think they're used to travelling and having to adapt to different conditions. But it's going to be key for us too. You know, it's a new day, new wicket. But yeah, it's been a good experience for us, as I say, to get used to conditions here, and hopefully we can take out some of the positives from the last couple of performances into today's game. What
is your team news?
We've got the same team.
Go well today.
Cheers, thank you.
So the news from the toss, England have won it, they're having a bowl.
Thanks to Nasser Hussain. So England win the toss once again. They're going to have a bowl. Stephen Finn, multi-time Ashes winner, veteran of World Cup and Champions Trophy for England as well. What do you make of that decision at the toss? Scotland say they would like to have had a bat.
Yeah, I think that's probably the differing mentalities of the teams as well, but I think England, with that batting lineup, the extra depth of Jamie Overton at number 8, probably see their way of winning this game on a surface that shouldn't deteriorate. It looks as though there's a nice covering of grass, which will mean it will skip on and shouldn't break up and turn, as we have seen in Mumbai in the game that they played against the West Indies the other day. So not too much changing conditions. They're backing themselves to do the job with the ball and restrict and let that powerful batting lineup do its thing.
Kirsty Gordon, hello to you, Scotland international left-arm spinner. Kirsty, what are we expecting from this game? A lot of talk of this being a free hit for Scotland, but they see it as a legitimate opportunity to press their case for qualification.
Yeah, thanks, Henry. I think certainly when they arrived at the competition, that might have been the mindset, that it's a bit of a free hit. But now you're kind of in the thick of it. We've won a game, and you've seen England slip up against the West Indies. You're starting to think actually a qual prospect. So I definitely think there'll be a little bit of nerves out there today, but they know the conditions. I know we've spoken about that, but I think that sets them in really good stead. I also think Harry Brooks saying that they're going to go a little bit harder and they were a little bit careful against the West Indies could also play into Scotland's hands as well. You know, that we've seen how England play, and that can go one of two ways.
This is the thing we always talk about, Finney, that England, who proclaim an ethos of adaptability, but also occasionally say, no, we need to double down, we need to go even harder. Well, what do you make of it?
Well, I think he's actually right in what he says about the way that they played spin the other day. It looked a bit non-committal and careful to me. He's not talking about going from aggressive to super aggressive. I think he wants his team to have intent to score, but putting a bit of pressure back on the bowlers. It feels as though the West Indies spinners the other day were just able to bowl at England through those middle periods. That created pressure. That meant the run rate escalated to the point where England had to have a slog and lost wickets in doing so. So I would like to see a more proactive approach from the players against spin today without being reckless, but that's the caveat that we've been talking about for about the last 4 years with this England team. You want them to live on the cusp of that line without going over him.
In terms of the context of the group, well, at the moment we see two sides that have got the same record, having played 2 matches, won 1 and lost 1, but at the moment England find themselves in 4th place. So top of the group, West Indies played 2, won 2. Then it's Scotland, by virtue of their net run rate so significantly boosted with the big win against Italy, who themselves are in 3rd. England are in 4th, and then Nepal at the bottom of the table in 5th. Now, England win this game and they will be entirely in control of their own destiny and seizing a big step towards qualification. But it was that big shock, really, with Italy's hefty win over Nepal that has blown the group wide open, and Scotland will believe that there's a massive opportunity, Kirsty, for a place in the Super 8.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Italy victory the other day really stunned us all, and fair play to Italy because they played unbelievably well, and especially, a Nepal team that took England to the wire. So like a few groups in this World Cup, this one's could turn out really interesting, but I do think a lot lies on today because the winner, like we said, the winner of this game has their destiny in their own hands.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It is a huge opportunity for one of these sides to really stake their claim, and what a venue to do it as well, Stephen. This is a spectacular ground, of course. 10 years ago, not such spectacular memories for England, who lost in a World Cup final, thanks to the efforts of Carlos Brathwaite, who hit the ball to all parts. I'm looking out from the very same commentary box where we found ourselves in 2016. And remember the ball sailing away into those seas of spectators, Ben Stokes down on his haunches, and England having lost in that World Cup final. But what a special place this is. It's got the huge floodlight towers with the red and the white, and about as much as aesthetic beauty as the South Bank Centre. I mean, it's brutalist, isn't it? It's not necessarily one of those where you look and think that it's been designed with lines and flows. It's a ground that is just sort of here, present, but full dripping in history.
Yeah, that history is something you're aware of as a player. The stands are incredibly shallow, so it's wide, vast space, and yeah, as a player, I always love playing here. I'm lucky to have played all 3 formats at this ground, and the pitch is good. I think the pitch in particular will suit England. They'll be happy for the change of venue to come away from Mumbai, that was a bit more of a stodgy surface. This one, I think, will be a bit more free-flowing and free-playing, which should suit them, and they'll be glad for that change.
Yep, indeed. Lots of fans in as well. I can see a gentleman in an Exeter City shirt down there in the stands.
Poor fella.
Support. Well, indeed, all of our football teams are. I think you can direct that particular direction at England fans, Scotland fans as well. A fair few of them have made the journey, and on Calcutta Cup Day, we're here in Kolkata at Eden Gardens, watching England against Scotland. Scotland's players in those very fetching purple jerseys with the dark blue bottoms on the boundary edge, England in the red jerseys with the blue bottoms, and about to walk through the now familiar twirling sparklers that greet the players onto the field, with the ICC anthem blaring and the flags being unfurled. A decent crowd, and many of those in sunshine, with I can see in the distance the huge Indian flag that towers high above the stands at the far end, and It is some place to be watching a game of cricket. Now, if you want to see the journey from street level to the commentary box, check out BBC Cricket social media, where I made a journey down from way below to the long walk up the stands to get to our vantage point here, up amongst the pigeons in the rafters. As here come the two sides then between the sparklers, and we're not far away from anthem time. It's always a special occasion, England against Scotland, in any sporting event. And just briefly, Kirsty, this will be a very proud moment for these players.
Yeah, well, and as you said, singing the national anthem, it's a proud moment for any player. It's always a special feeling, but on an occasion like this, it does hit even more. And I just hope today we've got an excellent game of cricket ahead and an excellent game of rugby later today as well. And that's all you hope for as sports fans, isn't it?
Well, it is, and Scotland will feel they were so hard done by in Barbados when they were flying 90 without loss when the rain came, and that was seen as a massive chance for them to do a real bit of damage on England in that World Cup. Didn't happen. What will happen today? Here are the national anthems of England and Scotland.
Ladies and gentlemen, if able, please rise for the national anthem of Scotland, followed by England.
There we go. We're pretty much ready to go here at Eden Gardens in Calcutta. England against Scotland in the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Big game this. Both sides having already lost a game in the tournament. And there is no question about it, a degree of pressure on an England side who will be favourites, Stephen Finn, because inevitably most games of cricket they play, they are and they should be.
Yep, absolutely, but that gives Scotland a really dangerous mindset of just going out and giving it their absolute all, and that they absolutely have the talent and the skill to be able to push England hard. And look at that game in the 2024 World Cup where Scotland were on to potentially beat England, they were certainly in a fantastic position, then the heavens opened and saved England. So there'll be a few memories of that game, players on both sides involved in both those fixtures. So another fascinating one lies ahead, another World Cup game with jeopardy.
Kirsty Gordon, before we let you go for the time being, we'll hear plenty from you as we go through the game. What are you expecting in terms of an approach from Scotland's openers? I imagine they'll be looking to do something similar to what they did in 2024.
Yep, I think they will be, and similar to what they did the other day against Italy. I thought George Munsey got off to a flyer. Generally, that's the role he plays. He's going to take it on from ball one, and he'll hope to get a little bit of Liam Dawson, I imagine, in the power play, because he plays spin excellently well. Expect to see plenty of sweeps and reverse sweeps. And Michael Jones, he's a fine player as well. He'll enjoy the pace, and we'll see how the challenge of the pace of Jofra Archer fares against these two.
Indeed we will. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Kirsty Gordon, for the time being. Scotland left arm spinner with us as part of our coverage today from Eden Gardens in Calcutta, northeast of India. And what about these two teams? Both unchanged from previous matches. England line up with Phil Salt, Jos Buttler, Jacob Bethell and Tom Banton. Harry Brook is the captain, Sam Curran, Will Jacks, Jamie Overton, who came in the last match for Luke Wood, Liam Dawson, Jofra Archer and Adil Rashid. For Scotland, same team as the one that beat Italy, I should say, by 73 runs. Munsey and Jones, as Kirsty mentioned. Then it's Brandon McMullen, Richie Berrington, Tom Bruce, Michael Leask, Matthew Cross, the keeper, the wily spin of Mark Watt, Ollie Davidson, Brad Wheel and Brad Curry, who you can read all about his alter ego as a football fantasy football expert, a guru, on the BBC Sport website and app. I recommend you do so. So here we go. Jofra Archer is going to bowl from the end of the ground where Ben Stokes charged in from all those years ago, and it is also all those years ago. No, forgive me, it's more than that. It's 11 years ago, Finney. To this day, you took your World Cup hat-trick at the MCG.
Well, look, I don't like to go on about it, but it's probably the finest World Cup hat-trick that there's ever been. And as time passes, it only gets better, Henry, so thanks for bringing that up.
Well, that's okay. I mean, there is... I don't know what the statute of limitations is in terms of the footage available, but it's fine.
I've redacted it all from the internet through the official route, so it's not there. All that matters is my word of mouth, and it was amazing. Yeah, all nicked off at slip. Unusual in a 50-over match in the final over. Right, here I go. Jofra Archer has the ball in hand. England's two fielders on the boundary are a deep third on deep backward square leg, and Archer in now and bowling a ball which rather startles immediately the left-handed Munsey, who has a little look at the surface, which has a touch of sort of greyish green to it, but we think will play well. Yeah, I think that will help the ball just skip on to the bat. Grass here, especially in Kolkata, means that it just holds the surface together a little bit, so maybe not quite as much spin. In this World Cup, this venue has offered the least amount of spin of any of them used, so should be good for batting.
Archer turns again and begins his smooth approach past the umpire now, and full delivery, clipped away through the onside and for 4. It was a floaty sort of ball, it felt, right on the pads and whipped away through mid-wicket for a boundary.
That's timed so nicely. We know Munsey hits the ball hard, and he's very unorthodox in the way that he can squirt the ball, especially with his sweeps and reverse sweeps that he plays, but this was very conventional, just a clip through the leg side. There's no mid-wicket there, as he is in at slip at the moment. A big gap between deep backward square and mid-on.
Archer to try again, runs in, and this will be dropped into the offside. No run there. The score remains at 4 without loss. The little statistical quirk that in 5 attempts, Stephen, England have never beaten a European side at a World Cup.
That doesn't bode well, does it?
T20 World Cup.
They'll break the duck at some stage, but at the moment it's not good statistical listening. No.
We've mentioned the washout against Scotland, but also 3 losses against the Dutch in 2009 and 14, Ireland in 2022, and 2 no results, Ireland and then Scotland. Here's Archer, helped in the air just to the right of Adil Rashid at short, fine leg. I fancy it was probably off thigh pad rather than bat. And so indeed, leg byes signalled by umpire Chris Brown, who's out there alongside Alahuddin Palakar. Sam Nagowski of Australia is our TV umpire today. As plenty of spectators continue to make their way in, these huge, vast, deep banks of seating. Sometimes we talk about steep tiers. These are very shallow. Almost feels as though the surface area of the stands, in terms of the footprint they'd make, as much as the outfield quite comfortably. It goes miles back. We're sort of overhanging the top of one of the tiers. But we still feel quite far back. At least 100 yards away, the action. Scotland 5 without loss. 2 balls left of this opening over. The first 6 of the power play. There's a slip in place for the right-handed Michael Jones. As in comes Archer to bowl to him. There will be a quick single taken towards Harry Brook at mid-on. That's good running. And the score moves to 6 without loss. What's it like as an atmosphere, this ground, to play in?
Fantastic. It's not as intimidating as somewhere like the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, where the stands are steep and the noise bounces off the roof. Here we are in the only stand that has a roof at one end of the ground. The rest is this vast open space. So yeah, you don't quite have that intimidating atmosphere, but it does just feel vast when you're out there.
6 without loss. Here comes Archer once again. This is slapped towards mid-off by Munsey, who's annoyed he's not timed that. And the over comes to its conclusion. 6 for the loss of no wicket for a Scotland side that will be very keen on Calcutta Cup Day to make it at least a promising start to Scottish sporting success on this Saturday.
Yeah, you'd say that Scotland underdogs in both games. I don't think that's too unfair to say. Just looking at Kirsty's face there to see if she agrees. No, so. But it's certainly. I wonder if that's by chance or by design.
What's that?
That the fixtures have fallen on the same day.
Purely chance.
Okay,
but
it's a shame.
I've been learning more about the Calcutta Cup. Why it's called? Because I always wondered why it's called that. Well,
isn't it melted pennies or something?
Melted rupees.
Rupees, sorry. Yes.
Here and. At the rugby club of Bengal, which still exists. And it's got a very similar trophy there, actually. Far end of the ground, Jamie Overton comes bustling in. And the first ball that he delivers is tapped into the onside by Jones, up to the right of mid-on, and Liam Dawson, who with a rather plodding motion to his right will get the ball, but not before a couple of runs are taken. 8 without loss. It is a quick outfield. It's pretty much perfectly circular.
Yes, it is, and it's got the unusual quirk of having the practice wickets on the outfield as well. Sometimes the practice wickets are outside of the stadium.
Here comes Overton. That's defended. That's a ball that is hitting. You can hear it hit the bat hard. That. We've got Archer patrolling things at deep third. Jacob Bethel in one of the small patches of shadow over to the left at deep backward square in front of a big collection of fans who roar their enthusiasm as he turns to face them.
But the practice wickets here are at fine leg and deep third, so if you're down there, it's always in your eye line. If the ball goes on it, you're thinking, oh, do I have to dive on these? Which you obviously do, but it's not a pleasant experience.
Overton again, bowling a ball which cramps Jones for room. There's nothing he can do for it.
There's bounce in this surface. Both Overton and Archer, they're clearly tall, hit the track style bowlers, but they've hit the splice and the gloves a few times here. That one's rattled the gloves and the handle of Jones, who's stepping to the leg side looking to give himself room. Good bowling by Overton. The slip came out after the very first delivery as well into mid-wicket, which is a good tactical ploy.
Here's Overton again. Smacked away into the leg side. That's a nice looking shot, and it's going to be 4. Jones got a big piece of it. It sounded good, and the outcome was just what Scotland were after. 12 without loss, whipped into the leg side for a boundary.
Yeah, lovely timing, just slightly overpitched from Overton. And this surface is good. You can tell already how quick the ball flies away when it comes out the middle of the bat.
Overton again, far into the ground, vast figure. 12 without loss, Scotland. Here's Overton, and in the air, but dropping short of mid-wicket. Looking to repeat the trick, and it was there to be hit, actually, and he's not got hold of it. Overton, who marches back with purpose, I think it's fair to say. He looks like a man that means business when he walks back. You know, sometimes you see a bowler, and I'm thinking Shane Watson be my favourite example, who looks as though he never wants to bowl a ball ever again.
I think that was his attitude towards towards the end. Yeah.
That'll do it. Overton, final ball of the over. Running in and striking high up on the pad of Jones. Will run through for a leg bye. Throw is a wild one towards the non-striker's end from Phil Salt. And Scotland conclude the over with 13 on the board. 13 without loss after 2. The other one I think of who always looks very deep in thought is Gus Atkinson.
Yes, he's got like little shuffle steps.
Little shuffling steps looking straight at the ground.
But he runs like that as well when he runs to the crease. He's got a bit of, like pterodactyl about him, hasn't he? His arms don't really move and he shuffles to the crease as opposed to pick his knees up. You watch Jofra Archer run to the crease, his knees are pumping. He's cruising, but he's running quick.
But it was always said with you, Finney, is you could tell when you were bowling quick because your knees would be that little bit higher. Stuart Broad as well.
Yeah, Broady definitely. You stood at mid-off and you saw him run in his first few balls and you thought, okay, he's really on one today.
Archer with a deep third and a backward square leg outside the circle. The right-handed Jones is waiting and it goes out towards that fielder in the deep on the leg side, but well away from him. And as the ball just drifted onto the pads of Jones, he flicked it down through fine leg for 4.
Yeah, just using the pace of Archer has brought about a field change. Jones very much looking to target the leg side, and with the shape and the natural shape of Jofra Archer into the right-handers, it's suiting that. So deep thirds coming up inside the circle, deep backward square and deep mid-wicket are out there. So Archer will look to follow Jones here and force him to hit towards that leg side.
Archer moves in once more. Scotland 17 without loss. There'll be a run there. It's good running this from Scotland. They're putting pressure on England every time. It's almost tap and run as well as finding the boundary options. Just keep that scoreboard moving.
Like a knuckleball from Jofra Archer there as well. He used his leg cutter a lot in Mumbai because the wicket was a bit stoppy, so he felt as though running his fingers over the ball was the way to go. But he's had a couple of off games so far in this World Cup, so an opportunity to make amends.
Archer below us. He's watching on from the stands in a red seat down there. Someone in a very old Manchester United t-shirt. Archer tosses the ball from right hand to left. Now begins running in the sunshine to Munsey, who's sent the ball skywards. Should be a chance of a catch. Who wants it? 2 underneath it. Catch taken. Banton called it. He took the responsibility running in from mid-wicket, and England have got their first wicket. It looked for a moment as if there could be trouble with 2 fielders sprinting towards the ball, but in the end the call was good and Archer gets the wicket of Munsey, who knew straight away that he was in trouble. It went ballooning into the Kolkata sky, and as Dawson and Bunton came together, it was the Somerset man that took the responsibility, took the catch, and Scotland 18 for 1.
Yeah, that'll make Jofra Archer very happy. Munsey just rushed for pace there, slightly in the extra bounce of Archer that we've seen wrapping the gloves and the handle of the batters, just hitting the top edge. And Munsey loves to play square of the wicket, loves to use the pace, but he was trying to hit this one a long way in front of square and could just skew it up in the air for a second. It did look as though they were going to headbutt each other, Dawson and Banton. Both were shouting for it, but Banton, the bigger man of the two, I think would have flattened Dawson anyway in that encounter. So a good job that Dawson pulled out. Banton took the catch. England get there first.
Kirsty Gordon, big wicket that. He's a dangerous player, Munsey.
He is indeed, and that's a great wicket for England early in the game. They'll be pleased to make an inroad in the power play. McMullen to the crease now. He's really Scotland's pillar in their batting lineup. So if Scotland are to make a big score and cause England some problems, I really feel like this partnership and McMullen in particular will be key.
Yep, McMullen 41 not out in the win against Italy, off just 18 balls as well. Right-hander, 2 of them now at the crease as in comes Archer to bowl to him, and that's defended into the offside, and pointing with his bat at the non-striker's end is McMullen to say no run. You know, back in the day, Finney, on like unlicensed football games,
yes,
or cricket games or whatever, you'd get players whose names you might have been like, I don't know, Stefan Fern or something.
Yep.
Yeah, or we might have had
Pro Evolution Soccer, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was the main
that was the
for
one.
that.
Brandon McMullen. You know where I'm going with this.
Yes, that Brendan McCullum is his.
Yeah, totally. Here is Archer. It's been helped away into the leg side. There's a fielder though, and the catch is so easily taken. The man at deep backward square, Phil Salt, had acres of room, no danger of anyone running into him there. The only collision he had to worry about was that ball slapping into his mitts, and it has done. It's a 50th wicket in T20 internationals for Jofra Archer. Scotland have lost that player described as the pillar of their batting. McMullen goes without scoring, hooking the ball right down the throat of Phil Salt at backward square leg. It's 18 for 2.
It's the extra bounce and pace of Archer. It's an instinctive shot by McMullen. He almost can't help himself to play it, angling in towards his ribs. And because of the bounce, he can't ride it and is forced to hit up on it. It hits the top edge, the splice of the bat, so there's no timing whatsoever. And it's a decent sized boundary out there towards the leg side where the right-hander was hitting, and Phil Salt, a good 20 yards inside that boundary, takes a really, really easy catch, and that's a massive wicket. He's the linchpin of this Scottish team, and 2 wickets inside the power play. Important progress for England.
But at the end of the over, Kirsty, I'll get your thoughts on the significance of that wicket. But Scotland's captain, Richie Berrington, is out in the middle with Scotland 18 for 2. And he comes in at 4 with 2 wickets falling in 3 balls. Munsey and McMullen both falling to the pace of Jofra Archer, who's running in now. And swaying out of the way is Berrington. Archer's over goes for 5. And the Scotland score after 3, 18 for 2. So your expression told rather a lot of stories there, Kirsty. Listeners won't have seen it. I certainly did, because you know that that's a potentially significant blow.
Yeah, hugely significant blow for Scotland. Not just the significance of it being McMullen, who I do believe is their best player, but also just the stage of the game. Steady start, 18 for no loss. You know, you're thinking tracking quite nicely, and all of a sudden 18 for 2. It's a hugely different prospect. Really big challenge on the cards now for Berrington and Jones to build a partnership while still trying to attack this power play.
This is down the leg side. Oh, is that a catch? There's a big appeal. England love it. And there's nothing doing from the umpire at the far end. As Jamie Overton came in, there was a noise, that much is for sure. And Joss Butler is making that symbol to say, I want to have a look at this, because as it fizzed past the hips of Jones, Stephen Finn, there was a little flick of a noise.
It sounded woody, didn't it? To me in my headphones. We're clearly a long way away from the pitch, but we've got the stump mic. It sounded woody. Butler thought the same. Brooks sent it upstairs.
Check the feed, it's a fair delivery. I'm looking at split screen. Keep rolling through, please. Okay, ball goes past close to the bat. I'd like to go to Ultra Edge, please, to see if there's any bat involved.
I think this is hip.
Yeah, he's got a wooden thigh pad on, clearly.
Okay, thank you. Clear gap on the left-hand side with a flat line. Keep going through, please. And thank you, contact with the body. Satisfied, no bat involved. If I could have the umpire back on screen. Pally, stay with your original decision. Signal now.
Very good decision as well from Alihuddin Palaka, because it all happened very quickly, and England was short. But they lose the review.
Well, some players use bulletproof thigh pads now. There's this like fiberglass. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Which, to be fair, some of the pace at the Boys Bowl, you'd want something that sturdy.
Well, I'd want a full armour.
Yes.
I think, personally. Here's Overton to bowl to Jones, who's on 12. It's tickled away for 4, I fancy. It'll pick up pace on the used pitches. And indeed it goes whistling down to the fine leg boundary as Jones moves to 16, and a little bit loose that from Overton onto the toes, maybe the frustration of the previous ball.
In my first ever year of professional cricket, I played, well, not my first year actually, my second or third year, I played with Sean Newdale, a veteran off-spinner. And, you know, as a youngster, I'm there with all my pads, inner thigh pad, chest pad. He used a tea towel as an inner thigh pad. Yeah.
Overton again. and that one beats the edge. That's a good ball and good zip and bounce as well. 22 for 2 midway through the 4th over. I mean, that'll do nothing.
Well, no, it was like an old school thing that clearly inner thigh pads probably hadn't been designed. So to hang, you got your strap for your normal thigh pad over that. He would fold a towel, and that would be it.
I mean, that was going to do absolutely nothing.
He had some good bruises on his inner thigh.
Overton runs in once more. It's played back towards mid-off. They'll have to be quick here. Underarm throw misses, but a single is taken, I think, probably safely enough in the end. It was Dawson who ran in quickly. That was good running between Jones and Berrington. 23 for 2. I mean, now you go. I mean, there's some wonderful shops in India where you can buy any bit of kit, any size, any design.
You can have them custom made now. You have them moulded to your thighs.
I would have thought a thigh is a mouldable thing in itself, because you can understand somebody having sort of a helmet designed, moulded around your head,
which they do now.
Yeah, because that's sort of a solid thing, your skull, isn't it? Here is Overton. That's angled down towards Archer at deep third for 1. 1 ball left of the over.
Yeah, someone comes and takes the measurements and then fits your thigh pad perfectly to your thigh. You just got to hope you don't put on or lose muscle throughout the course of a season. They are remoldable. You put them in the oven. This is genuine.
They're not.
There are thigh pads where you get them and they're not molded, but you put it in the oven and then put it on your thigh.
Overton in once more. It's a full toss, which is she rather missed out on as it goes dribbling into the onside with 1 taken. 7 from the over, and Scotland with 2 overs left of the power play at 25 for 2. What are we going to see in terms of England's approach here? Archer is in conversation with Brook, and he is going to bowl a 3rd over.
Yeah, wicket. So I thought that when Overton bowled that 4th over, I wondered whether Brook would just think you need to try and knock the stuffing out of Scotland early. Their power and their real true ability to hurt you is in their top 5 or 6 batters. If you can take those guys out early by bowling your best bowler whilst the ball's hard, whilst he's getting pace and bounce and is confident, then I think it's a good tactical move. So I like this from Brook. Top loading it with Archer to try and take wickets.
2 fielders on the boundary on the leg side now, a mid-wicket and backward square leg, as Archer in the haze is bowling. It'll go out towards that fielder at backward square leg. 1 is taken. I don't know what that noise was. From next door. I'm not sure if that came across on your microphones. It did, I think. There was some sort of howling. It's one of the player tracking crew from next door making a bit of a racket from the back of the box.
Couldn't believe Jofra Archer's bowling a 3rd over. The GPS unit's going bananas.
Or his favourite restaurant has just confirmed Valentine's Day booking for this evening.
That is potential. A nice afternoon game, isn't it? Opportunity to be romantic this evening.
Archer bowls. There will be no run there. England with fielders packed inside the circle on the offside, close in as well, and Banton sprints to prevent a single being taken. I mean, where would you on a Valentine's Day, Stephen? Where else would you rather be than standing next to me in Kolkata?
Well, nowhere, Henry. I'll be honest. Yeah, there's nothing that crosses my mind that I'd rather be doing.
Well, there you go.
I just hope that my partner and 13-month-old daughter aren't listening to this at home.
Here is Archer running away from us. 2 wickets in his previous over, and he's looking to try and target the top of off stump. You can see the extra zip because hands are coming off bat handles quite a lot.
Bounce, and Kolkata is generally a nice place to bowl. I remember enjoying bowling here, and some of my favourite wickets actually in my international career were at this ground, and just that little bit more bounce encourages you to hit the pitch hard, encourages you to keep your game plan really simple. Heavy length over the top of the stumps is a real challenge here if you have the pace and bounce.
Here's Archer, who certainly has shown that so far, and he does go with a little bit of a shorter ball, but the pace taken off it, and it's nicely angled towards quite a wide, deep 3rd. Throw comes in with 2 runs taken. That was way down at 72 miles an hour from Archer. Couple of runs added, 28 for 2.
And I think clearly when you're confident, you have the confidence to back your game plan. But what we've seen from Jofra in the first 2 games is He was a little predictable at times. He'd stick to one style of delivery throughout and over, whether it was a leg cutter or pace on. Here he's been predominantly pace on, heavy over the top of the stumps with the odd knuckleball, which just makes you second guess as a batter.
Archer moving it again. It's too hot to handle for Berrington, who drops the ball towards backward point, and Phil Salt. Archer back up over 90 miles an hour on that occasion. A reminder, both of these sides having played 2 matches so far, both having won 1 and lost 1. West Indies victorious on both occasions against these two teams who meet for just the second time in T20 international cricket. In fact, in the last decade, these two teams only met on 2 occasions. That famous game at the Grange in 2018, and then the curtailed match in Barbados 2 years ago. Archer is into bowl and almost take him off his feet is Archer. Berrington taking a step to the leg side, banged it in short. And I think Richie Berrington was well advised to sway out of the way of that as it goes thudding into the gloves of Joss Buttler. End of the over. 1 left of the power play, and Scotland 28 for 2 after 5, with Berrington on 3, Jones on 19, and Prakash Wakanka standing by to take up commentary after some more from you, Stephen Finn.
Yeah, it's been just the start that England wanted here. Win the toss, opt to bowl first. The last thing you want is to see that ball flying around on what looks like a good surface, but Jofra Archer has bowled really nicely today. He's kept his game plan really simple. His pace has been up. His decisions with his variations have been very good. Been backed up by the fielders, and England look like a good unit here so far. Scotland are under a bit of pressure. There's still 15 overs left in this game to rebuild and try and post a challenging total. Good afternoon, Prakash.
Good afternoon, Finney. So yes, the kind of start that England would have wanted, and I think they'll be mighty pleased with the way things have gone so far. 28 for 2 at the end of 5. Here's Sam Curran, first ball of this game, and he moves, creates room on the offside and slashes it over the covers. He'll get 4 runs, 2 bounces into the fence there from Jones. Really gave that a real thwack, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's an excellent player, Jones. He's quite a big, imposing player when you're bowling at him. He started his career at Durham, then moved to Lancashire, I think, to play his domestic cricket. He's a active top order player. He's not really fussed against facing pace, and he's already forced a field change. The deep mid wicket comes up and deep cover goes out, and he's willing to use his feet.
Here's Curran in again, left arm over, he's up, he bowls, bustling run up, eased away and beats the diving fielder at backward point, runs away from the practice pitches and into the boundary cushions for another boundary. So back-to-back 4s for Scotland. That's going to make them feel a lot better. Kirsty, you're feeling a little bit better now?
Yeah, I think you can see the intent here from Michael Jones. He's recognised the situation that we've got to take advantage of this power play now. He's taking the game to England.
Absolutely, and that's what the doctor ordered. 36 for 2 now. 2 early wickets in that 1 over from Jofra Archer, his second, and looking to just rebuild but not giving up the attack. Here's Curran bowls, and this one's gone up in the air but right behind, and it's come all the way below us here in the commentary position for the first 6 of the game. Top edge, looking to push this through the mid-wicket area, just the top edge, and it flies away. These bats, not what a bowler likes, Finney.
No, not at all. But also, there's good pace in this pitch. Sam Curran is not a particularly quick bowler, but he's got a bit of extra bounce there. The pace on delivery, and the top edge flies all the way for 6 over wicket-keeper Butler. Curran's under pressure here. 14 from 3 balls he's conceded.
He's in again, bowls, and this time it's defended back along the track, and Curran feels of his own bowling. Magnificent ground this, as Henry said at the top of the broadcast. Historic, and in so many ways used to be, in fact, one of the very premier grounds in Indian cricket. Of course, over the years, many more stadiums have been built, but you can't take away history, can you? And the Eden Gardens very much central to Indian cricket. Curran in again, comes in bowls, and this one's been pummeled in the air with a man getting underneath it. A deep backward square takes the catch. So Sam Curran strikes. I think his bottom hand just came off the bat there. for Jones, and that's the end of him. 33 of 20, but England will be pleased to see the back of him. 42 for 3 now, Finney.
Yeah, 3 wickets. So important to take wickets in the power play. And Curran was under pressure there after the first 3 deliveries. This one's an off cutter, pitching on or around leg stump, and threw the shot way too early. Jones, who didn't pick it. Jacob Bethel at deep backward square leg, is an excellent fielder and is not going to make a mistake under a simple high ball like that in the mid-afternoon sun here in Kolkata. So 3 wickets down, Scotland here. Jones played well for his 33, but he had to go on there, having lost 2 important batters at the top of the order. Scotland will have to rebuild again.
Yes, and the good time to get thoughts from Kirsty Gordon, who's alongside with us. Kirsty, think England with the edge in the power play?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 wickets in the power play is a massive win for the bowling team. So certainly they'll feel on top, and I think Finney's hit the nail on the head there, that it was a great start from Jones and a great bit of pressure to put back on to England and Sam Curran, but he had to get on there, he had to kick on, make a big score for Scotland. Unfortunately, that's a huge loss when he's made a start, faced 20 balls, puts a lot of pressure on this Scotland middle order now.
It certainly will, and from an England perspective there, Finney, much better than the first 2 games, you'd say. Bowlers coming to the party, wickets early, and some variation that you've been asking for from the quicks.
Yeah, just a simplicity of game plan. It looked as though maybe they've spoken about that in between the games. Jofra Archer set the tone really nicely in that first over, and then everyone comes in off the back of that as well. And wickets are the order of the day. You have to have the mentality to think that you can always drag yourself back into the game by taking wickets. Sam Curran concedes 14 off his first 3 balls, and then he changes his pace and outfoxes Jones, and that feels like an important wicket for England.
Drinks just going off the field here at the Eden Gardens. A goodly crowd in. Yes, it is the weekend, but in Calcutta, of course, very much the city of joy, but also a city that draws a lot of joy from cricket. Of course, football really is, I think, even today, the most liked sport in this part of the country, and Kolkata featuring 2 leading clubs in the Indian Soccer League as well. But at the moment, for a neutral game, to see a good crowd in at the Eden Gardens is a pleasing sight. Curran to finish the power play with 1 ball left of the 6th, and it's Tom Bruce who's out in the middle. Surveys the field. He's got the 2 deep fielders at deep square third and deep backward square, where Bethel took the catch to dismiss Jones just off the previous delivery. Everyone's waiting. Probably, again, something to do with broadcasting.
You'd think, yeah, the advert break potentially.
I would think so. The umpires
advertising the India versus Pakistan game tomorrow.
That's going to be some game, but we're not talking about that today. Right, so the umpire's now happy. He's got the green signal from wherever he needed to get it, and here's Sam Curran in again. Arms pumping, comes in and bowls. Slower ball again, defended nicely, and that will be the end of the power play. 42 for 3 at the end of 6, and Berrington on 3. The loss of Jones, obviously something that really hurts Scotland's chances, because he was looking good, but the early loss of 2 wickets had to put some pressure on the batter, and he's perished trying to play another big shot. So 42 for 3 in what is now being termed the launch phase. I'm not so sure if these terminologies of launch, consolidate and so on really make sense, but it's a marketing world we live in. It
very much is, and taglines and punchlines cut through, but I'm not sure they make all that much sense, do they? Because it's very game dependent about what phase of the game you are currently in, and you would have to say that Scotland are in the consolidation phase here, having lost those 3 early wickets. Just 42 runs on the board, and Adil Rashid, England's leading ever wicket taker in T20 internationals, is about to start wheeling his magic from the end underneath us here.
Yes, from the clubhouse end, with a slip in place for Adil Rashid to Berrington. He is in. First ball, flatter, quicker, worked away on the onside. They'll run through comfortably for a single. There's a decent covering of grass, as you mentioned, Finney, on this strip. Pitch number 5 here at the Eden, which is pretty much the centre pitch, so boundaries almost even. The stand away to our left now, just beginning to cast its shadow onto the playing arena. And remember, it gets dark fairly quickly here. Bruce taking his time, Tom Bruce, just a little bit of gardening, just settling the nerves, if any. 3 men. Here's Adil in bowls, and this is cut away, square of the wicket. They'll take 1, and I think that's all they'll get, because scurrying through is Bethel quickly to his left. Make sure there isn't a chance of a second run.
He's such a good fielder, Jacob Bethel. His economy of movement towards a ball, but the pace with which he does it is outstanding. It makes a cumbersome, stiff looking fielder like me very jealous.
Adil Rashid bowls. This one was the wrong and came back in, struck him on the pad. There's some interest from Butler. Then he suggests to Rashid that maybe there was a little bit of bat in it. It came back nicely, didn't it, Finney?
Yes, he's gone through his repertoire so far. A slow leg spinner to start, a slow googly second, and then this one pushed through, catching the batter on the crease, saved by an inside edge.
Rashid in again. And this one swept and swept well. Places it nicely past the fielder Archer at 45, and he'll run down to the deep backward square boundary for 4. There's a good shot, played perfectly, rolled his wrists over it, no risk at all, and 4 important runs to his team. 48 now for 3, and Berrington's up to 8.
Yeah, in trouble if he misses that, but because he got such a big stride in and his reach was so far out, he met that ball on the half volley and was able to use the pace with Rashid bowling the ball out the front of his hand to beat that fielder at deep backward square. Nice shot.
In again, this one's tossed up slower and off the back foot, hit up the ground towards long off for a single, which will take the total up to 49 now. 49 for 3, varying his pace quite nicely. Adil Rashid, after a forgettable first game against Nepal, he did bowl really well in that second game at the Wankhede. Last ball of the over is in again, bowls, and eased away into the mid-wicket area for a single. The 50 comes up for Scotland in the 7th over, in fact at the end of the 7th over, and Berrington on 9, Bruce on 2. Kirsty, your impressions on that first over?
Well, I think I said at the sort of top of the show that I think Rashid and the wrist spin could present a little bit of an issue for Scotland, but Berrington is an excellent player of spin, and I think if he continues to get his sweep out, I think that'll be a really good option for him. If he can't pick it, get the broom out.
Well, we shall have to wait and see, as Dawson is now into the attack. Bowled in the power play in the first game, didn't he, Finney?
Yeah, he's a really versatile bowler, and why I've been calling for him to be involved in these white ball teams for a few years now. It's the way he's able to control an end for you with his left arm spin. Excellent fielder, offers a bit with the bat, although he's found himself on the slippery pole in both the games so far in this tournament. An excellent player.
A chance for him to make amends. Of course, he's in now. First ball of his spell to Bruce, who's off the back foot, out towards straightish mid-wicket. Bethel gets there first and shies in to the keeper. Single. 51 for 3. 3 men on the onside boundary and 1 at the point. Outfielders. Bright sunshine here. It's been cooler than normal here in Kolkata. Here's Dawson again, makes a little bit of room, does Berrington. Flat bats it out towards the covers. They'll take 1 more. 52 for 3 now. It's going to be a stage where they'll have to start thinking once they feel a little bit more comfortable, isn't it, Finney, where they start looking to just up the ante a bit. Where are they going to find the spaces and what is going to transpire? Dawson bowls, and off the back foot it's hammered away, slightly unconventional, but very good fielding there, running in tandem field. Dives, does the fielder at long off, shot tosses it up for his partner. The return comes into Butler's gloves, and 2 is all they'll get, but 2 runs saved there. And Sam Curran doing the hard work there, running across very quickly. He's an amazing cricketer, isn't he? He does everything so well and loves playing here.
Loves playing here and loves playing in India. A lot of experience, hasn't he, in the IPL?
He does. Dawson in again. 4 steps to the crease, bowls once again, playing it from on his stumps down towards point. He'll pick up another run. 55 for 3. 5 runs of the first 4 balls of this over. Scotland 55 for 3. Just feel that this wicket looks pretty good.
Looks like an excellent pitch. To me, there's a bit of bounce with that new ball, but if a bowler missed, you could just crunch through the line of it. It doesn't seem as though there's any real spin here either for Dawson or Rashid so far.
Yeah, I haven't seen much on current evidence. Here's Dawson in again, bowls. And this one's played really well. He waited on it just a shade and then through the covers down to the boundary for 4. Lovely shot all along the ground. Once he'd beaten the infielder, there was only one place for it to go. 59 for 3. And Berrington's up to 14 now.
Yeah, it's not a bad ball by Dawson, but stepping outside leg, Berrington gives himself room to hit this hard through extra cover, and that's a sign of how good this pitch is. If you can hit through the line of that as he's done there, you can trust it.
Dawson in again this time. Oh, just a leading edge, didn't quite carry, and almost popped it back. Seen that happen so often.
What I like from Dawson there is he's really switched on as a cricketer, and Kirsty can elaborate on this a bit more from a spinning perspective, but England didn't get out of overs very well in their first 2 games. They had 7 overs that went for 14 or more in the last game against the West Indies, and a lot of those were because of boundaries off the last ball. He's bowled that really, not allowing the batter any opportunity to hit it for 4 and to lose the over from 9 to 15, so I thought that was good.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll get Kirsty's thoughts on that in just a moment as Rashid starts a fresh over. Saini bowls, and once again pulling away, creating some room. Rashid gets a hand on it, parries it away. They'll take 1. The second's not there, and they'll be content with it. 60 for 3. Very important, as you said, Finney, for any bowler, particularly a spinner. Having done all the hard work with 5 balls, the last thing you want is for the final delivery to be thrashed away. Here's Rashid in again, bowls, and this one's been hit away through the onside. Will bisect the fielders in the deep and will run away to square leg, just forward of square for 4 runs. Slightly dragged down by Rashid, and Berrington makes him pay.
I would call that a swipe from Berrington, but because there's no real turn and he can trust the wicket, he can trust his hand-eye coordination and hits firmly across the line. It comes off the bottom corner of the bat, but the gap is so big between those 2 fielders out there, it goes for 4.
Rashid in again, bowls tossed up, and this one's been hit in the air, but I think he's got more than enough of it. About 7 rows back over the long off fielder for another 6. It's a lovely shot from Berrington, just waited for it. Adil Rashid tossed it up, took up the challenge and deposited it way back away to our left and below. 70 for 3 now. Berrington up to 24, and Rashid tossing the ball from one hand to the other, just thinking through what his next delivery is going to be, and full dives away and prevents a single. That's Rashid. 70 for 3. This is good by Berrington, isn't it, Kirsty?
Yeah, definitely. You can tell he was waiting on that one. The way he backed away to the leg side, he's done that a number of times now and not quite had the ball he wanted. But there, he got exactly what he wanted, and he's given Rashid the punishment there over extra.
Rashid bowls again wide outside the off stump, inviting the batter to have a go. Who does? Sort of ricocheted away, I think may have been just a little bit of inside edge. Wait for the umpire's signal. A run nevertheless, scurried through before Butler could run around from behind the stumps. 71 for 3. There is no signal, so clearly a bit of inside edge. Adil Rashid, graphic on our screens just pointing out that he's got the highest turn so far, 4.5 degrees. May not be in this game so far as he bowls, and this one's been hit straight back over Rashid's head. That's 6 more into the side screen. It comes, so 2 6s in the over, 18 runs coming off it. Now that's the kind of over that'll bring a smile to Scottish supporters, including, I'm sure, Kirsty.
Yeah, a great over for Scotland there. Really took advantage of the flight that Rashid offered, and as you guys have been saying, not much spin, so you can really trust your hands through the line of the ball. Wouldn't be surprised if we see England turn back to a bit of seam now, maybe another one from Overton or back to Curran, a bit of pace just to mix it up a little bit, because Scotland seem to have their eye in now against a bit of the spin.
Well, Dawson to continue. Brooks obviously not listening to you. 77 for 3. The run rate just a notch over 8.5 runs and over. So a bit of consolidation coming through after the loss of early wickets for Scotland. And Dawson is into his second over. Berrington on 25 on strike. And this one's driven straight to Harry Brook, who's at short extra. No run. One of the other specialities about the Eden Gardens and the naming of its stands is something that really stands out in terms of other Indian grounds. Come to that after this ball as Dawson bowls, and this one's slashed away a little bit in the air, but very comfortable. And as the slight fumble in the deep field allows the second run to be taken as well. Quick to spot it, the two Scottish batters. 79 for 3. Very rare, Finney, to see Indian cricket grounds having stands named after non-administrators, politicians and cricketers, and you actually have stands here named after war heroes.
Okay.
Talk a bit more about that if we get the chance. Here's Dawson now, and he's going to bowl to Berrington, who's on 27. Dawson in bowls, and this one's been slog swept but didn't get hold of it, maybe just as well, as it bounced well in front of Bethel coming off deep mid-wicket. One more to the total. It's 80 for 3. So the two stands across on either side square, Dhan Singh Thapa and Joginder Singh, as well as the one right across as Colonel Nair. All of them war heroes in action, either in peacekeeping times or the 62 war against China. This happened a few years ago when, along with the naming of the Jhulan Goswami stand as well as the inauguration of the Saurav Ganguly stand. So slightly different, and stands out there as this one's whipped away down towards wideish mid-on. Will take one as the fielder comes off the boundary and fields. It's 81 for 3. 2 balls the 10th. And you mentioned the man, Dada, the king of Kolkata, on our monitors and indeed on the giant screen as well. Dawson stands facing up to the bowler, batter, and now comes in, tosses this one up slower, wider, and signalled as such by umpire Palekar. I think Dawson expecting Berrington to charge him, come down the wicket. He didn't, and an extra to the total. 82 for 3 in the 10th over. Halfway stage coming up here. What's Dawson got up his sleeve now to Berrington? He's in, he bowls, and Berrington almost takes away his batting partner's head, slams it away and beats a chase from the deep from Jamie Overton for 4 runs to a straightish long on. Lovely shot, effective, not really pretty but very effective. 86 for 3.
Yeah, really nice batting this from Berrington. Dawson's trying to vary his pace. He's moving around and making it really difficult for Dawson to settle or to know where he's going to be. Dawson looked to follow him there, but because, again, as we mentioned, how good this pitch is, able to just hit through the line, almost cleans up his batting partner at the other end.
He did. Last ball of the over, he bowls and he sweeps it away, and he'll get 4 more runs. This is another productive over for Scotland. Really got hold of it nicely and swept it away, or paddled it away, whatever you want to call it. 13 coming off it. So 31 runs of the last 2 overs, 90 runs on the board now, and Scotland certainly getting a bit of momentum going. 90 for 3 at the end of 10 overs. More from you, Finney, and it's going to be Henry Moran after that.
Yeah, really excellent batting. Dawson looking to follow again, going for the heel, trying to get out of the over, but drifts too far down that leg side. So Berrington's able to just tickle this one round the corner with good timing out towards the fine leg region. Beats the dive or the outstretched hand of Adil Rashid at 45. And it forces a bowling change from Harry Brook. 90 for 3, Scotland. And this has been a very, very impressive rebuild at the halfway stage. Sam Curran coming back into the attack to try and break this partnership, and England need it.
Thank you very much for the time being, Finney. You're going to have a little bit of a break. Kirsty Gordon, Scotland left arm spinner, is with us, and this is a bit more like it, Kirsty.
Yeah, it's been a great little phase there, as alluded to by Prakash and Finney there. 31 off the last 2 overs, and said Harry Brook should have listened to me and had the seamers on just 1 over earlier.
Well, I know. If only he was listening. Here is Sam Curran. Bowls, that'll be just the one, pushed into the offside. Scotland at 91 for 3. This partnership now just 1 shy of 50, 49 off 27 balls. What about a par total? Halfway stage takes us to 90. What do we think's par?
Oh, I think it looks like a fantastic batting track. Really, the only thing that's in it for the bowlers is that little bit of extra bounce we saw very early on. So, got to be upside of 180, getting close to 200, probably minimum.
This is slapped down the ground. It'll go on the bounce to Will Jacks. It's a cross-batted hack from Berrington, but I rather admired it for its brutal effectiveness in terms of timing, if not in terms of runs. It was not a thing of beauty, but quite a nice hit. 92 for 3 the score. Partnership is now 50 of 28 balls between Bruce and Berrington. How many people will be watching this in Scotland, do you think? I mean, is it cutting through? I know the rugby will be a bigger occasion. I'll let you think about that as we see Sam Curran running in with a score at 92 for 3 here at Eden Gardens, and he comes dashing past the umpire, and an inside edge will go down towards Archer at fine leg for one more. 93 for 3.
I think there will be a good following. I think certainly in the last few years people have started to get behind their cricket, and you know, as we've spoken about the occasion, World Cup, the sort of last minute nature of Scotland's addition to it, and now today playing against England, I really hope there'll be a good following, and it'll lead on nicely to the rugby, as you said.
Yeah, it's a big sporting day for England-Scotland rivalries, and also the link between Calcutta as well, which is a fun little one. The Calcutta Cup in the rugby, the venue here, of course, at Eden Gardens in Calcutta. Big crowd in as well. Here's Curran. That's very cleverly bowled. It's that loopy moon ball type thing, but it has been given wide by the umpire, much to the chagrin of the England all-rounder. 94 for 3. So you're thinking minimum 180?
Yeah, absolute minimum. I think from here they've had a fantastic partnership to rebuild. I thought 180 would be very optimistic a few overs ago, but it's certainly back on the cards now.
Richard Foster's in touch on the email. In comes Curran, and in the air it goes towards mid-off. Brooke will throw at the keeper's end, misses, and Butler does well to pick up an awkward throw with one taken. 95 for 3. Greetings from sunny Aberdeen, says Richard. Loving the commentary. Though English by birth, I'm Scottish by adoption, so happy whatever the result. So there you go. Is there such a thing as happy whatever the result in England-Scotland matches?
I was just about to say he's probably one of the rare few people that is a neutral in these sorts of occasions, but it's great that they're out there.
TMS@bbc.co.uk on the email if you want to join the conversation. Sam Curran running in, 95 for 3. Curran with a ball outside the off stump, which he has to wait an age for, does Bruce. He picks up a single. It's been a decent over this from Curran with 6 from it. But the last 30 balls have yielded 54 runs for the loss of no wicket.
Yeah, it's a great pullback over this from Curran and for England. And as I was saying, you know, 180, 200 is what they'll be aiming for. But the challenge in that will be Archer and Overton's final few overs.
Hawk swoops and looks at what morsels might be available on the outfield as the next ball goes flicking off the inside half of the bat down towards the aforementioned Jamie Overton at long leg. 1 taken. So 7 from the over, and Scotland 97 for 3 after 11. Is that Overton we're going to see back into the attack? It might be. He's taking off his cap and walking with purpose towards the umpire at the non-striker's end, so it looks that way. You get the most wonderful soaring birds of prey off the ground, just looking for anything they might be able to get their talons on. As over the far end near those big floodlights, I can see a couple swooping and riding the warm air that rises from Calcutta below. A city bathed in sunshine still, though of course on the east coast, a long way away, you know, 1,000 miles from Mumbai. The time zone remains the same, so you get sunset a lot earlier in this part of the world. So when it does start dipping, it'll dip quickly. And England were very keen last night to make sure their practice at around about 5 p.m. would replicate these dusk conditions that'll soon be upon us. So Overton will return into the attack, having taken no wickets as yet, but bowled nicely. 2 overs, none for 13. And he comes bustling in, right arm over from the far end and almost chopping on, but angling the ball safely enough in the end is Berrington to move to 40. and it's 98 for 3. So from what you've seen from this surface, Kirst, do you think these are going to be the challenging overs more than the spin's been?
Yeah, I think so. I think they bowled nicely as well. I thought Archer's found a little bit of rhythm that he maybe hasn't had throughout the competition so far, and I think Sam Curran, well, we know how wily and tricky he can be at the death, so I think they need to capitalise on the likely 4 more overs of spin that they're going to face.
Hits high up on the bat of Bruce's Overton, who bowls a heavy ball. It's an expression that sort of makes sense, Kirsty, but you, from enough team meetings, can explain what the bowling a heavy ball means.
You absolutely can. It's like when people say they hit a long ball. What does that mean? Everybody can hit a long ball now and again. But yeah, heavy ball. I think Overton, because he gets so tall in his action, he really comes down over the top of the ball and hits the pitch hard, is, I suppose, the answer to the phrase.
In the air, out towards the deep. It's going to go between the 2 fielders and for 4. Out through the offside, it was full and wide from Overton, and as the ball was slapped as much as anything from the bat of Bruce, it went skewing away between deep third and deep cover, and it brings up 100 for Scotland, 102 for 3, and Overton will be a frustrated man with the looseness of that ball that he tried to just mix things up with the off-cutter.
Well, that wasn't a heavy ball. It was floated outside off stump, too full, and Tom Bruce has placed it perfectly, because it could have been easy to guide that incorrectly.
Same part of the ground targeted as the ball comes off a rather thicker part of the bat actually, and goes towards Liam Dawson, who fields just beyond those practice pitches down at deep third in front of a block of stands, absolutely full, and it's also a sea of red cardboard because everybody pretty much is using those little 6 cards to shield themselves from the sun as it begins to set. Overton bowls into the leg side, it'll go just for 1. With the ball left to the over, 7 have come from it, and England managing just to ease back the run score in that flurry of boundaries we saw in the overs preceding Curran and Overton's. Now, Terry on the email. I've lived in Glasgow for nearly 23 years, but I'm still a Yorkshireman. Let's just have a good match. Looking good so far. Here is Overton. Another single taken into the leg side as Bethel fields with a mullet that is now going beyond the respectable, I would argue. 12 overs gone, 105 for 3, Kirsty.
Well, I think what's going to interest me is how do England now use their spinners? How do they use Dawson, Rashid, or will they get Jacks into the attack? They're going to have to bowl them, but when they do that will be crucial, and I think they'll probably have to go sooner rather than later with those spinners to allow, you know, hopefully a tight closeout for England and England fans towards the back end. But the game is nicely poised. Those last 2 overs, I think England have pulled back a bit of momentum. I think it's very much in the balance.
Feels that way. This partnership worth 63 now between Berrington and Bruce, as we see Liam Dawson called back into action by Harry Brook. Shirt untucked, big sunglasses, short sleeves, and conversation with Brook, who himself actually on the outfield, he looks like a captain, and I'll explain what I mean by that. He dresses like a captain. There's a sign in the crowd reads "No breakup, only World Cup" on Valentine's Day. Well, there you go. Here is Dawson cramping for room. Bruce, who will get a run, and had to be quite quick about it as Brook moves to his right. He looks like he is dressed immaculately for the occasion. Sleeves rolled up identically halfway up his forearms. Shirt nicely pressed. Quite high-waisted trousers tucked in very neatly. Brook, and his cap with his sunglasses resting on the peak. It all looks very well put together. He looks like a captain, as if his kit bag might be quite nicely folded. Dawson again. None for 23 from his first 2.1 overs. He's going to try once more with his left arm spin round the wicket. Inside out, and for 6 mighty runs. Berrington smashes the ball away over long off. That is a huge blow.
some shot from Berrington, and we saw lots of that the other day against Smuts of Italy, and he's at it again now. He loves the left arm spin. It's normally a good matchup to the right-hander, but Berrington once again shuffles to the leg side, gives himself that room and opens up the offside. It's an excellent cricket shot.
I mean, there is no turn on this surface, that much we are seeing. You would not fancy bowling on this, I'm imagining.
Oh no, absolutely not. All I'm thinking about is how nicely I can tuck my shirt in and hope that you can compliment me that way instead.
Well, yeah, it's not a day for the spin bowlers to necessarily execute their skills, as the old saying goes. Here is Liam Dawson, and once again giving himself some room as Berrington, but he's rather chased by Dawson and can only hack into the onside. One taken, he moves to 48, and Scotland 113 for 3. They'll be thinking about 200 if they possibly can. That would need them to go at around about 12 and over.
They will be. That'll be on their minds as well, this partnership. Leask will be ready as well to see what damage he can do at the back end if and when he gets that chance.
Dawson bowls, whipped into the leg side, could be a chance. It is. Bruce goes. The catch is taken by Sam Curran. Behind square on the leg side. The partnership worth 71 off 43 balls is broken. England, well, they could have done with that, and they've got it. It's 113 for 4.
Great partnership there, Bruce and Berrington. And it is Dawson that has the last laugh after being expensive thus far. You can see what Bruce is trying to do, steps across, trying to help it into the leg side, into that gap behind square, but he's almost got too much of it. And it's straight down, deep square throw. Easy catch in the end, and a much needed breakthrough actually for England. They'll be pleased about that and hoping that they can apply a bit of pressure now to Scotland in these middle overs.
Well, Michael Leask, who I spoke to on the boundary edge last night, comes out to join us with plenty of experience behind him. 76 T20 internationals. He scored 22 not out against Italy. And he's a dangerous player as well. Strike rate of around about 130. He's hit 46 sixes in his international T20 career, and somebody that does have the power on a surface like this to do some serious damage. Lovely man as well. It's always nice when you finish an interview and they want to hang around and chat. I find that normally, Kirsty, people that, unless they have to talk to me, tend to get away rather quickly, but it's rather nice. We had a nice little chin wag on the boundary edge.
Yeah, he's a great guy, Michael Leask. That's these northerners, you see. He's from my ends up in Aberdeen. No, he's a great guy, and more importantly for this situation right now, it's nicely poised for him, and I think he'll go after it here, and there's still batting to come after him.
Kev's in touch, tms@bbc.co.uk. We wait for Leask to face his first ball from Liam Dawson, who holds the ball out in front of him and is in now, and Leask will be up on his toes to collect one into the leg side. Salt scampers in, head ducked from the boundary at mid-wicket, 114 for 4. You ask whether people in Scotland will be watching the cricket as much as the rugby. Well, I'm in Wales myself, but I'm sure there'll be many others in Scotland doing the same as me. TMS on the headphones and keeping an eye on the curlers on the telly. Here is Dawson, and Berrington will get a run down the ground to keep the strike and move to within one of a half century. An excellent one as well. He's 49 off 31, and the score stands at 115 for 4 after 13 overs. For a Scotland side who had little wobbles in this innings for sure, but a big partnership has given them a really nice platform here heading towards the back end of the innings. Of course, curling very much associated with Scotland when it comes to Team GB.
I had it on yesterday actually. Unfortunately they did the Scottish men I shouldn't say the Scottish men, should I? The Team GB lost to Italy yesterday, so there's so much Britain or Scotland, Italy, you know, it's all playing each other at the minute in rugby, the cricket, everything. It's exciting.
It is, and I love the fact that, you know, that sort of sporting worlds are connecting like this. It's kind of fun. Kolkata Cup, we're in Kolkata for this. Here comes Adil Rashid back into the attack. He's been expensive so far. Big appeal for LBW. Given. Berrington's been given out on 49, and he rests on his haunches. Looks up hopefully towards his teammate Leask, longing for a, well, I'm sure that's missing, but I'm not sure There's going to be quite enough evidence. He will probably review it, and at the last moment does, but Rashid was utterly certain that that was going to be out. And Alahuddin Palika raised that finger mighty fast. He was short, and the fact that Barrington took quite so long to review it suggests that I think he's hit it. Let's have a little look at the replay.
Check the feet. It's a fair delivery. I'm looking at split screen. Okay, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Okay, ball passes close to the bat. I'm going to need to go to Ultra Edge, please, to see if there's any bat involved.
This looks pretty adjacent, unless he's hit it.
Okay, next frame. Next frame.
The umpire's call not going to be going his way either.
Next frame, thank you. Clear gap on the right-hand side, plus a flat line, satisfied. There is no bat involved. We can go through to ball tracker when ready.
I think this is going to be out, Kirsty, myself. Ball tracking will confirm it, but the fact that he's taken his gloves off and he's already started turning towards the pavilion does not necessarily bode well for Scotland.
It's the worst thing as a player. You're just waiting. You kind of know your fate, but you just have to wait for that official confirmation, and there's a glimmer of hope in you that you won't be out, but deep inside you know that
on ball tracker.
You will be.
Ball tracking is yet to
the original decision was out.
Build. And here we go.
Pitching in line, impact in line, and wicket says umpire's call. You can have the umpire back on screen, please. Pallies, stay with your original decision of out. Signal now.
Well, there we go. The wicket is confirmed. Yeah, umpire's call. It was quite a big umpire's call in the sense that a lot of the ball was hitting the stumps, if you see what I mean. But it is the big wicket of the captain. Barrington goes. It's 115 for 5. Kirsty Gordon, Scotland left arm spinner. Go on, thoughts?
Yeah, tough wicket, that one. A very difficult time to get out when they've just lost Bruce after that mammoth partnership that really got them back into the game. To lose both sort of back to back in very quick succession is going to hurt Scotland, and now another rebuilding phase is required. Matthew Cross probably the man for that. He's a really good player of spin. He'll get his sweep shot out as well, and he's actually probably suited to a role where a little bit of rebuilding is required. Might work well with a partnership of Leask, who, as we've seen already in this tournament, likes to take on the bowlers, and the pitch will allow him to do that.
Lots of emails coming in. Thank you for joining the conversation. tms@bbc.co.uk. Davey in Port Glasgow says, "Dear Simon and Kirsty," I'm not Simon, but that's okay. I've been called many worse things, and to be I assume you mean Simon Man as opposed to Cowell, and to be compared with Simon Mann is only a compliment. But lovely to have your message, Davey. Glued to the commentary from Kolkata on Kolkata Cup Day. Graham Schoon is listening in Kirkcaldy. I've had a passion for cricket since playing school in Dunfermline. Coach Mr. Jardine, I assume not that one. And visiting my cousins in Somerset, late 70s, early 80s. The excitement of Botham et al. Today I'm clearly supporting Scotland, but happy to follow England for the rest of the time. Thank you, Graham. Jonathan says, well, my dad's English, my mum's Scottish, and though I was born and raised in England, I've always felt more at home in Scotland. I'm listening to you from a home in Inverness, just down from the very pretty cricket ground, Northern Meeting Park. Cheering on Scotland, but if it ends up being as exciting as Afghanistan versus South Africa or Australia, Zimbabwe, I won't mind if we lose. Do you know that ground? That's your neck of the woods, isn't it?
I don't actually. As you said that, I was thinking, have I played there? Have I heard of it? No, I've not played there. I've been obviously played up in those ends, up towards Inverness, but it doesn't ring a bell, unfortunately.
Austin on the email. I think curling is missing a trick by not having bouncers. Good luck. How heavy are those stones? They're well heavy.
I think that would do a bit of damage to the ice.
Well, yeah. So, Scotland 115 for 5. A curling stone weighs between 17 and 20 kilos. Now that would be a heavy ball.
Quite literally a heavy ball.
Quite literally. They all come from the same island, I think. They're all hewn from the same rock, I believe. Not literally the same rock that's ever decreasing in size. You know what I'm saying. 115 for 5. Adil Rashid is into bowl to Cross. the Scotland wicketkeeper. The shadows just beginning to lengthen here in the northeast of India as in comes Rashid once more. Outside the off stump, it's a bit of a loose delivery. Timing isn't perfect, and just a couple of runs will be taken. 117 for 5 with 2 balls gone in the 14th over. Scotland building a big partnership but then losing 2 wickets in the space of 2 runs, which has rather put the skids on things. As Rashid begins the approach to cross once again. A slip in place. And that will angle just to the right of that slip, who points Will Jacks towards Jofra Archer, who's crossing in from backward point. No run. Just 2 from the over so far.
It's a crucial time here, but you just feel like England are really turning the screws on Scotland now.
Down the leg side, that'll be wide, 118 for 5. Robert says, I'm an England fan, Scotland my second team, wouldn't mind a Scotland win were it not for the fact that... More in a moment. In comes Rashid, plenty of air on that, patted towards short cover, no run. Were it not for the fact that England fans on social media had a gross overreaction to losing to the West Indies. That would be so much worse if they lost here. Here is Rashid bowling, swept hard. That's a good shot. It's going to bring 4 runs. That really is beautifully timed for the bat of Cross. Well, Kirsty, you said he could time it nicely on the sweep, and that really is a fine stroke.
Yeah, it'll relieve a little bit of that anxiety, nerves, pressure that was probably already building on Cross when you're setting a platform and you know you need to keep going. It's a great pitch. They need runs on the board here. A welcome boundary for Cross and for Scotland.
122 for 5. Final ball of Rashid's over, and he's in now. A sweep is attempted again. This time it goes a little finer, and Banton will just have to crouch down in the shadows in front of a double-decker stand that's pretty much chock-a-block. And for the first time this tournament, Kirsty, my favourite score in cricket, after 14 overs, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Way.
Yes.
How many games have you been waiting for that one?
We are now on match number 23, I believe. So there we go. Doesn't take much to amuse me. Takes quite a lot to amuse those that have to spend time with me. The score stands at 123 for 5. Rashid has been expensive again today. He's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 34, having been really excellent in the last game against West Indies in a losing cause. Greg emails, listening from Stirling with my 10-month-old son. Loving the commentary, especially Simon/Henry. Thank you, Greg. Here is Liam Dawson then, over number 15. Bowls back to him and diving to try and stop it. I don't think the catch was on, but Cross will get a single. 124 for 5. Loads more cricket to come over the next few days. This T20 World Cup, I mentioned how many matches we've had, but it rattles along quickly. It really does. And we've seen some absolute crackers so far. Been
What's
a brilliant
been your favourite?
tournament. Well, South Africa, Afghanistan, amazing. Forward comes Leask in defence, no run. But I also enjoyed the Zimbabwe against Australia again, not just because it was a big team losing and that team was Australia, but it just felt like it was the first of all of the shocks that we looked like we might get. It was the first one that came to a sort of real fruition, if you like. Here's Dawson round the wicket. Deep in the crease is Leask looking to whip round the corner, but only finds Archer, and there is no run. New Zealand, by the way, against South Africa is this evening's game from Ahmedabad, so a 1:30 start UK time. We'll bring you full commentary of that as Liam Dawson round the wicket comes in once again. As a top edge will go out towards the deep. Fielder running in will take the simplest of catches. Dawson strikes to get Leask. Scotland are 6 down. And Sam Curran, who's already taken 1 catch out there today, just ran in from the boundary, out in front of that great big scoreboard, and took a pretty straightforward catch. Top edge, and Dawson, who may have been a little expensive today, but given the lack of turn on this surface, his figures of 2 for 33 with 2 balls left of his spell. Job pretty well done so far for him, and it's 124 for 6.
Yeah, disappointing that for Scotland and for Leask. He really was sort of the last hope they had of somebody that can really take the game to England and really propel them up to a highly competitive total. I felt like he was in two minds there. Does he go? Does he explode? Does he sort of get himself in with there still being 5 overs left? And ultimately he sort of played a nothing shot, try to help it round the corner, and it's ultimately led to his wicket as a slow, sorry walk-off from Michael Leask. Brings Mark Watt to the crease, who can absolutely bat and absolutely add some score to this total for Scotland.
He could hit a long ball, I think is the phrase. Email from Claire. Morning, Simon and Kirsty. Enough of this. Kirsty might know the northern meeting park as Bute Park. I too have an English father and a Scottish mother. Feel Scottish, live cricket. Also in Inverness. Well, Bute spelt B-U-G-H-T. So there you go. Iqbal, listening while I drive back from swimming with my 5-year-old Ibrahim. Scottish by marriage, so I have to say, come on Scotland. Looking forward to a Pakistan win tomorrow. The big one tomorrow for Colombo. India-Pakistan. Tap down the ground from the left-handed Watt, who will trot through for 1. Scotland 125 for 6. Neil's listening from Perth. Hot Perth, Western Australia. Not that Perth in Scotland. Looking after 2 wickets. Wickets? Whippets. For the weekend. Big difference. Here is Dawson. Final ball of his spell. We'll see a dot. Punched into the offside to Harry Brook, and he concedes just 2 runs from his final over and bowled very nicely indeed, Liam Dawson. 4 overs, 2 for 34. And England, I think it's fair to say, Kirsty, on top at this stage, but 5 overs to come and anything can happen. Right, we're going to have a double change in the commentary box. I'm going to get some thoughts from you, Kirsty, and then Stephen Finn will be joining Prakash Wakanka.
Yeah, England absolutely turning the screws now. The last few overs have really fell away for Scotland. The big wickets of Bruce and Berrington, and then Leask just a few balls ago, and it's been really, really good from Liam Dawson. He was expensive earlier on in his spell, but he's come back very well, and England firmly on top now in this big clash.
Adil Rashid to continue, and his last over, 1 for 34 for him so far, and he's going to bowl to Watt, who drives, gets an outside edge, diving, sprawling stop at shot backward. There'll be no run. It remains 125 for 6. Scotland threatened for a while to get away, but England have pegged them back, haven't they, Finney?
Yeah, they've done well here.
Rashid in again, bowls, and nicely played reverse down towards where I think it's Bethel who's fielding. Easy to spot with that mop of golden hair. Single, 126 now for 6.
Well, those early wickets have hurt Scotland, haven't they? Because if they'd have only lost 1 in the power play, say, and then played as they did through those middle overs, they'd have had a real launch pad to put England under pressure at this back end. Instead, 6 down. It's a bit easier for England to manage.
Rashid then to cross, and he's looking to square cut, doesn't make any contact, taken by Butler behind the stumps.
But England can't be complacent either. If they're complacent here, they could concede 50, 60 more, and then that's going to be a tricky chase under pressure in the second innings.
Rashid, arms whirling, bowls, and this one's been slapped away. It's in the air, the man getting underneath it, comfortably taken. Number 7 goes down, and Scotland are not really putting any serious pressure. Wickets falling a bit too quickly for their liking. 126 for 7, crosses the man gone, and Rashid has his second. England strengthen their grip.
Yeah, loopy and outside off from Adil Rashid, so just bounced a little bit more than Cross was expecting, and because he had to drag it from outside off as well, all he can do is top edge that, and Banton at deep backward square leg settles under it and takes a very simple catch. I think it was Banton. Yeah, it was.
It was Banton.
And my eyes weren't deceiving me there. And it's just those early wickets. 3 down in the power play. 3 of your best players gone. It's a big foundation that Scotland missed out on, and now 126 for 7. It's just subsiding a touch here. Still 4.2 overs to go.
Yeah, they've got to be careful, isn't it, Scotland? They've got to try and make sure, first of all, that they bat through their full 20 overs, try and get as many.
Yeah, you say that, but I think they've thought, especially the way those guys played through the middle, I think they realise they need more,
Much
because
more.
this is a very good pitch.
It certainly looks like a great wicket. The bowlers have not really got any significant purchase. To the left-handed Davidson, who's off the mark, pushing it away on the offside. 127 for 7. As the lights begin to take effect here, I know Henry's been, I guess, very fact-based when he talks about the fact that the tars are not pretty, but they're effective. Thank God for that. One of the earliest grounds, if memory serves me right, to actually get lights here. Rashid tosses this one up and he's bowled him through the gate. Classic dismissal, did him in the air, and no chance there for Watt. The ball just came straight through the gate and knocked back the leg stump, and England just turning the screws here. England now, Scotland, I beg your pardon, in serious trouble, and looks like they might struggle to bat through their quota. 127 for 8 at the end of the 16th, and Rashid has his third.
Yeah, Rashid will be happy there, won't he? A couple of wickets in his last over, but nice bowling. Drifted towards the off-stump, pitched and just turned back slightly. Pushing forward defensively. Left a nice healthy gap between his bat and pad, and the ball scurried through it and disturbed the stumps. And England, who would have been flapping a little bit around the 10th over, Scotland were playing really, really well. That partnership that the guys had through the middle, the fact that England have kept and continued hunting wickets all the way through the innings has counted in their favour, and 8 down now, 127 on the board. Scotland are miles off what should be a competitive total.
Yeah, and Brooke now just, as you would expect the England captain to do, bringing back Archer for what will be his final over, but just looking to wrap this up quickly and give themselves the best possible chance of making an impact both in terms of points as well as net run rate. 127 for 8 now. Yes, those last 2 overs, memory serves, the 9th and 10th. In the end, to be able to block it. Here's Archer in again, and this one's just getting him to smell the leather as it flies in front of his eyes. 128 for 8.
Yeah, you always felt as though that one was going to be banged in from Jofra Archer. Good pace. It's been signalled wide.
Just watching the replay of that. As a spinner, it really pleases you, off spin or leg spin, when you go through the gate and knock the stumps back. It's, I think, the perfect dismissal for a spinner. Here's Archer, though, nothing. Another Yorker, and once again dug out. They think of a run and realize it's not there and choose to stay in their own creases, the two batters, Davidson and Wheel. 128 for 8 in the 17th. Scotland's attempt at setting a competitive total has been effectively short-circuited from about over number 11 onwards. I think Scotland not really able to press on, and England will be mighty pleased. 128 for 8. Shadows lengthen here at the Eden Gardens. This is a pull with not much timing, so they'll get one, and probably that's all they'll get, because Banton is up there quickly on the practice pitches on our left, and a single is all they'll get. 129 for 8 now in the 17th. England going in for the kill here at the historic Eden Gardens, and yes, it is Valentine's Day, it is Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, but it's such a joy to see stands reasonably full for a neutral game, and that's what would have been in the minds of many when the World Cup was being hosted here, the T20 Men's World Cup, in terms of what kind of attendance they'll get at neutral games. Here's Archer changing his line of attack to the right-hander. Wheel, who's off the mark with a push into the covers for Bethel to field. 130 for 8 now, with 2 balls of the 17th to come. Is England beginning to, would you say, get their plans in place for the more serious competition further up? I mean, this game, for all intents and purposes, they should, I don't want to say anything that you will then accuse me of, but should be able to win. And then, of course, the game against Italy will round off their round-robin commitments. There's Archer in again, bowls. Slower ball, and it's been whacked in the air. Will it clear the man? It does. So over the head of Tom Banton at wideish long on, and that's a welcome 6 for Scotland.
that's such a good shot. Jofra Archer, I think, would have thought that Davidson would be anticipating maybe a bouncer or a pace on delivery, but it's a back of the hand slower ball, and it's right in the swinging arc of Davidson, who is probably in dream world. Hitting Jofra Archer for a 76-metre 6. Got a feeling this one might be pace on.
Yes, Archer in bowls, and this will be a wide, I think. It is. It's remarkable, isn't it? It doesn't matter how great an exponent of whether bat or ball you are. When you think that you've been sort of either taken for runs or as a batter you have been foxed or outfoxed, the immediate reaction is one of how dare he or she.
Or as a batter, if you've just hit Jofra Archer for 6 and you're batting down the end, you could be thinking, what have I done?
Archer in again, bowls, looking for the full ball, gets a bit of edge. There's an appeal, and I think might have been going down the leg side. The umpire's unmoved. They run through for a single, and I think he got some bat on it as well. So 137 for 8. 17 overs have now been completed. Davidson is 8, Wheel is on 1, and I think with 11 runs coming off this over for that 6, this will be one of the better overs for Scotland, but maybe a little bit too late.
Yeah, maybe a touch too late, but all they can do is scrap. They clearly would need more than they have on the board now, it feels, to challenge England, but you just never know. A couple of early wickets, a bit of scoreboard pressure through those middle overs, then the weight of expectation. That's what Scotland will be hoping, but they do need to try and finish off here with a bit of an explosion. Sam Curran's going to be bowling the 18th.
Yes, 21 of his 2 overs so far. He'll want to improve on those figures. He's got Davidson on strike, the left-handed Davidson, with 4 men in a ring inside the circle on the offside. He bowls, and it's squeezed away down towards the practice pitches towards long leg. They'll take 139 for 8. 18th over in progress. Wheel is now on strike. He's got the 1 run. Davidson with that big 6 over mid-wicket off Archer is on 10. Archer's 4 overs costing 24. He picked up 2 wickets. Overton's bowled 3, none for 21. Rashid 4 overs, 3 for 36 with 2 in his last over. And Dawson, his 4 overs going for 34, and he's picked up 2 as well. So good outing for the England bowlers so far. Sam Curran is in bowls, and this one's timed nicely, square of the wicket, just backward of square, and a single comfortably taken. 140.
Well, the pitch is still excellent. I think I've seen nothing. The one that Adil Rashid bowled Watt through the gate turned maybe a couple of inches at the absolute most. It was good bowling and nice flight, but absolutely nothing for the England batters to be concerned about at the moment.
If anything, you just feel that much more confident, I would imagine, because they've seen very little deviation. Curran in again to bowl to Davidson, who gets a slower ball, and he just about gets enough on it, and it bisects Archer at the edge of the circle at short fine, and the keeper down below us for a welcome boundary for Scotland. 144 now for 8. Just one of those things.
Yeah, a little tickle round the corner. Curran looking to not be predictable. Slower ball, but too high. It would have been a wide had he not got any bat on it, but that little tickle taking it beyond Joss Buttler and beyond Jofra Archer and getting 4 more runs. So Davidson's having fun out there, at least 14 from 8.
Yes, he's a little bit of a late surge for Scotland. 144 now for 8. Curran in. He's got the outside edge. Did he know it just hit the ground? Beats him. So he looked to drive on the offside. You know, this England kit, red and blue, as the son of a artillery officer, those are the colours of the regiment of artillery.
Okay.
And I think all cricket lovers everywhere would be waiting to see when England's famed artillery with the bat really fires. And it could well be this evening, because as you've said, Finney, the wicket's very good and England certainly have the firepower. Here's Curran bowls and looking for the block hole, somehow just pushes it away back along the track for the bowler to field. There'll be no run. So 2 dot balls with 1 to come in this over. The DJ is getting into his work. The High Court of West Bengal away in front of us, the famous insurance building, Oriental Insurance, I think it is. These are landmarks that for years and years have framed the Eden Gardens. Away and behind us, the Maidans, where all the cricket and a lot of football also gets played. There's Curran in, and it's an interesting scoop shot which gets him for 4 runs. So Davidson certainly having some fun, as you said, Finney. He's 18 of 11, and Scotland have moved up to 148 for 8 with 2 to play.
That's such a good shot. He stands square on to Curran, so just as Curran's about to deliver the ball, he jumps into a square on position and holds the bat as if it's a frying pan, and then he's going to decide which shoulder he's flipping the pancake over. He chooses his left shoulder, uses the pace that's offered by Curran to help it up over short third, and benefits with 4 runs. Lovely shot, nice batting. 148 for 8 now. Davidson is flying with 18 from 11.
Yes, absolutely. Just what the doctor ordered for them. And how many more can they get now? 12 balls to come. 160, 165 would be a lot better than 127 for 8 or thereabouts that they were. Overton. And he slapped it. This could go to hand. It does. Comfortably taken by Will Jacks. It was just back of a length, slapped away to long on, unable to place it. And all that Will Jacks had to do was keep his eyes on the ball, take a couple of steps and grab the chance. So the 9th wicket down. Wheel is gone for 2. 148 for 9. 11 balls still to come.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reticent to criticise lower order players really at this stage of the game, but the way that Davidson's been hitting it and playing, you would imagine that Wheel is playing the supporting act here to someone who has found the middle of the bat consistently since he came to the crease. So your job should be really as a number 10 there to just hit a single and walk down the other end and let Davidson try and hit boundaries. But Wheel chose not to, offers a simple catch to long on. England have 9 now, and they'll want to wrap this up before the end of the allotted overs.
Yes, that's what they try. What do they say, Finney? This game's so much played so much between the years sometimes, isn't it? And it's that kind of thinking. It's cricket smarts, game awareness, lots of nice words for it. End of the day, how much in touch with what's going on you are. Brad Curry is the last man in for Scotland, 148 for 9. Overton has a wicket of the first ball, and it was his first as well, so he'll look to try and wrap this up if he can. Can the strike be turned over? Overton in, and Curry's dabbing it on the offside, but the man at short cover is so close in, there's no chance of a run. 148 for 9. As we've said before, this is a ground England remember well through the years in all formats of the game, but of course in the T20 format, as and when the Eden Gardens is mentioned, there'll be mixed emotions. Here's Overton in bowls, and this one's flying off the bat but not carrying to point. On the bounce, Banton fields, but no run. Importantly, he's kept Curry pegged in his crease.
Yeah, Brad Curry, not famed for his batting, famed for his bowling and his fantasy Premier League picks. Matt Henry's done a very interesting article with him on his alter ego. Yeah, you know what fantasy Premier League is? You pick your football Premier League players each week and they score you points, and he's quite good at it.
Goes in bowls, and this one's gone up in the air. Is it going to go to hand? No, just falls short, but the elevation allowed the batters to cross. Smiles all around on England players' faces, but from a Scotland point of view, the fact that Davidson's back on strike is what they would have liked.
It's an unconventional way to one, get off the mark, and two, get off strike. It's it was a ball banged in by Overton, and Curry was just there a little bit early and looking to ride it, but as he was trying to ride it, his bat sort of provided an elevated angle to just loop it up in the air towards mid-wicket, but Phil Salt was on the 30-yard circle and couldn't scamper in and take the catch. If he were a more conventional mid-wicket, it would have just been the simplest catch you've ever seen.
Rashid being brought into this circle from a deeper position, so the 4 men in the circle are Overton bowls, and Davidson's running the first run quickly. I don't think he's got enough for coming back for the second, and decides to just stay where they are. So the 150 comes up for Scotland with one ball of the 19th to come. In fact, that was the end of the 19th over. So, oh no, one more to come, sorry. So 19 to Davidson now, and Curry has the task of facing one more delivery so that Davidson can then try and do as much damage as he can to try and get Scotland to something more, and they will then dearly try and defend that with everything they have. Here's Overton, last ball of the over, very competently defended, one must say. Bat in front of the pad, pushed away to mid-off, and that is the end of the 19th.
A very solid defensive shot, that, wasn't it, from a number 11? He's been working hard.
He has. Kirsty, from your perspective, innings fell away a bit, didn't it?
Scotland 113 for 3. We were in such a great position, Berrington and Bruce going well, but since then, when they lost 5 wickets for just 14 runs, it really was the demise. And like you said, now it's just damage limitation. What can Davidson get? 10 plus off this last over? That would be brilliant, I think, but just sort of any runs they can get here. Face these 6 balls, absolute must as an absolute minimum. And then, as Finney said, you never know. Bit of scoreboard pressure, a few early wickets, you do never know.
Yes, that's what Scotland will want to believe, and they'll have to have that faith and belief in their own ability. Stranger things have happened in this tournament and before. Here's Curran starting the final over, and a big swing across the line will mean that they will rush back for the second. No, good work. The real sprint put in there from the deep by... is that Overton, is it?
It's big Overton, yeah.
Yep.
Steaming in.
Really
like
did charge
a runaway train, wasn't he? Like
and
he wasn't
the
going to
dive
stop.
to make sure he got the ball away, and that means Davidson can only get one. He nearly thought he'd get 2. It actually hit him on the glove, so there was no real distance, but Overton did really well to sprint in. So now Curry has the task of trying to turn the strike over again quickly if he can. Here's Curran, 151 for 9 into Curry. So he bowls, and this is nicely turned away for a single, doing the job and getting Davidson back on strike. 152 for 9 with 4 balls in the innings to come. Go on, Finney. How many more are Scotland going to get off 4?
I think there might be a wicket this ball.
Okay.
Sorry, Kirsty.
All right, so we've got predictions. Kirsty thinks it's a boundary, and Finney thinks it's a wicket.
Kirsty's
off this
gone
ball.
for the scoop, I think.
Oh, you mean the square one?
The square on scoop, yeah.
Yeah.
The frying pan flip.
Well, let's see. Here's Curran into Davidson. He misses. Really big swing, slow ball from Sam Curran, and looking to sort of send it with a petition to the High Court away at deep mid-wicket and beyond, but it didn't go anywhere. Straight into the gloves of Joss Butler. Change of pace. How often have we said this during this tournament? I think subcontinental conditions just accentuate the value of variation, and particularly changes of pace. Archer's been pushed back to fine leg just below us and to our right as Curran runs into bowl. Arms pumping, comes in bowls, and Davidson drives up towards mid-off, and there is going to be a run out, and that'll be the end of the innings. Terrible way to finish. Yes, no, wait, maybe another time. Sorry, mate. That's where it all ended. 152 for 9 it was, and that is where it ends with the run out, and England will be very, very pleased. Kirsty's minimum basic not delivered by Scotland, which was to play 20 overs.
Yeah, disappointing end to the innings, and a real disappointment really for the last sort of 7.5, 8 overs for Scotland. Ollie Davidson providing a glimmer of light. But really it's been all England since the 12th over. They've executed brilliantly, spin and seam, and they've really turned the screws on Scotland, and ultimately Scotland are below par, and it should be, in all honesty, a walk in the park for England. What it will be is yet to be decided.
Walk in the garden is what you meant at Eden for England, if indeed it turns out that way. Well, stranger things have happened, but England will feel confident. 153 to register a win here at Eden Gardens. In how much time, in what manner, and will Scotland have some special things to throw at them? We'll find out. For me, it's time to take a break, and Henry Morant's here, and you continue chatting with him, please, Kirsty.
Thank you very much indeed, Prakash. Yeah, interesting first innings. There was the early phase when at 42 for 3 inside the power play, it really did look as though Scotland will fall well short of what they would require to put pressure on England. Big partnership though that saw the score move to 113 before the wicket of Bruce. Berrington played nicely as well with 49, top scoring. Jones's 33 was a good knock. But then the wickets fell at regular intervals. 127 for 8 eventually became 152 all out. And as I mentioned, top scoring Richie Berrington with 49 off 32, Bruce 24 off 18, and Jones 33 off 20. Davison, useful runs at the end, 20 off 15. In terms of the bowling figures, well, Adil Rashid was a little expensive. Joint most expensive alongside Sam Curran, going at 9 and over, 3 for 36, Curran 1 for 33, Adil Rashid, Jofra Archer, forgive me, 2 for 24 from his 4, Overton 1 for 23 from his 4, and Dawson 2 for 34 from 4. So as we wait until the second innings begins, we'll be previewing India-Pakistan shortly, but before that, let's hear from Jofra Archer.
Was the spearhead of the English attack. Jofra Archer, 2 for 24 for you. After a quietish couple of games, you came out absolutely pinpoint precision today. What's your process coming into a game like this?
The process doesn't change. You know, every game is not going to go the same way, so you just got to stick to it.
And talk to us about the conditions here today. It looked like banging it in a little bit short of a length as well was actually more difficult to get away.
Well, yeah, it's totally different conditions to Mumbai. I think a bit more grass, but here it's a bit more dirt, and it slid on quite a bit, and I think we used that to our advantage today. I think this is the type of wicket that we bat really well on as well. So over to the batters to bring it home.
Talking about importance of bowling in tandem as well, you and Jamie Overton were fantastic with that new ball. How much conversation do you two have when you're going in to try and do the damage together?
If you don't have that much usually it'll either be me and him or me and Sam bowling the first couple of overs anyway, so the plans doesn't change. So if we decided to hit the wicket, we'll hit the wicket, and if it's pace off, it's pace off, so everybody is on the same wavelength.
I appreciate your time, well done, and good luck for the next innings.
Cheers, thank you.
Thoughts there of Jofra Archer chatting to Aaron Holland on the boundary edge. So Scotland post a total of 152 all out from 19.4 overs, so England's target 153. Okay, so before I say goodbye, I promised a little stat, and that stat is Scotland's 152 looks to be below par relative to previous matches in Kolkata. Since 2022, 157, the lowest successfully defended score across T20 internationals and IPL cricket. But early wickets could change it all. Prakash, I'll leave you in the company of Stephen Finn.
Thank you, Henry. So England openers are out in the middle with the task of trying to get these 153 runs that they need from 120 balls in as quick a time as they possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. England, you'd imagine, are going to look to come flying out the blocks here. 153 runs to win from their 20 overs. Salt got a good start the other day against the West Indies, but then threw it away a little bit. He's spoken in between games about how he can sharpen up. I'm sure he'll be looking to do exactly the same here.
Indeed, and so with England ready to start, give you the field as it settles. Looks like it will be Brandon McMillan who will start things off from the clubhouse end, the pavilion end. which also happens to be the end we are broadcasting from. And as the artificial light now beginning to take full effect, you can almost see the foreshadows of each player, which is always a sign that natural light is easing off here. Remember, in the east of India, India strangely doesn't have different time zones, but nature has them, of course. Right then, we're about to get underway. There's a slip in place, the keeper standing up, and 5 men in a ring on the offside, 2 on the on. First ball eased away towards point. There will be no run. 153, as we heard from Henry Moran. 157, the lowest score defended. Wait for this first over to see if there's anything that the evening and the lights do for the ball. Finney, do you think?
No, I think this is an absolute belter. I think Scotland are going to have to bowl and field absolutely out of their skins to defend this.
McMullen bowls and Butler gets one that gets a little bit big, a little bit of a fumble at the edge of the circle. 2 fielders driving across, and the single was always on. So off the mark, England and Jos Buttler. Oh, in fact, it's Phil Salt, beg your pardon. 2 without loss now. That misfield allowing the batters to scamper back for the second. Salt, who's provided some very good starts but hasn't carried on, pulls away. There's some movement behind the bowler's arm. Might be able to actually, yeah, I think it's there's a lady who right over the side screen. That's the thing, the balcony here, which comes off from the members arena, is right over the side screen, and it can sometimes cause problems, particularly if there's movement. I'm actually a little bit surprised the side screen isn't taller here, which it normally is during these kind of games. But here's McMullen now in again, bowls, and it's gone. Was it that distraction that caused him to lapse of concentration for Phil Salt? He drove through the offside, unable to keep it down, and snapped up at cover, and England have lost their first wicket. Kirsty, put that smile into words.
Well, it's exactly what we've been calling for. If this game's going to take off and give us the excitement as some of the previous games in this World Cup, it's going to require early wickets, and they've got one. They've got a very early one, and it's the dangerous, explosive Phil Salt.
Yes, down on his haunches, Salt there. Finney, not what he would have wanted, not what England would have wanted.
No, there was a bit of shape away from McMullen, but Salt was a bit lazy and just trying to turn it. I'm not really sure where he was trying to hit it, because it didn't look as though he was trying to turn it into the onside. It was almost turn his wrists across it to hit it straight, but the length wasn't there to do it, and the shape on the ball wasn't there to do it either. So therefore it's a bit of a leading edge towards cover, and it just loops. A really simple catch for the fielder there, and Phil Salt, who is so dangerous and knows these conditions so well, having won an IPL for Kolkata Knight Riders at this stadium, is gone and departed back to the pavilion. Massive loss for England, and that should give Scotland a lot of energy.
Yep, Matt Cross taking the catch, and you talked about KKR and Phil Salt. Boy, has he set the stadium alight during those competitions. Wasn't to be for him tonight. So he's back in the hut, and the new man in, of course, is Jacob Bethel, who's played 2 very good knocks. As he mentioned to Adam Mountford after the game, when England couldn't get over the line, was he would have dearly liked to carry on and make sure that they finish it. But here's another opportunity for Jacob Bethel. Settles over his bat. McMullen is in, bowls, and moves away. And Bethel's almost overbalancing there for a minute, I thought. 2 for 1 it remains.
Well, given what happened in the Ashes, this is a beauty by McMullen, by the way, just angled across. Bethel seen pointed towards first slip, the slightest bit of shape, and a defensive prod by Bethel beats the shoulder of the bat. Nicely taken behind the stumps, but given what happened in the Ashes, maybe every team should just bowl the keeper up to England. They can't handle it.
Yes, McMullen again outside the off stump, well left. Again, a good take by the keeper. 151 runs required. Remember, 153 was the target. 2 for the loss of Phil Salt. Yeah, it's just watching that replay there, Finney, as you said, almost looked like he was looking to sort of carve or curve or direct.
It's like clip. He's trying to clip it, but he's trying to clip it straight back past the bowler as opposed through the onside. So leading edge, bottom hand off the bat.
Here's Next one worked away nicely by Bethel. He'll get off the mark with a couple at least as the fielder runs in from the deep. And 2 more to the total. 4 now England for the loss of Phil Salt's wicket in the first over, which has just been completed. So 4 runs coming off it, and a good start for Scotland. You just think they need to do a lot more of this, won't they, Kirsty, if they are to really make a fight of this game?
Yeah, absolutely. And just speaking of the wicket of Phil Salt there, I think I was unsure about the field set by McMullen with the deep long off on the boundary, but it looks like it's a stroke of genius if it's sort of forced Phil Salt to think he can work that up the ground when it's not there to do so. So an excellent start, and Henry's statistic earlier, well, records are there to be broken, aren't they?
Defiance from Kirsty Gordon.
And why not? And that's what makes for exciting commentary and indeed exciting cricket. But at the moment the ball is in the hand of Bradley Curry, who is going to bowl from the High Court end.
Surprised the keeper's not up to the stumps here, actually. When he plays domestic cricket, generally the keeper will start up to the stumps. That's caused England problems so far. Opted to start back though.
Yes, he is in his conventional position. Butler's not ready. There's something behind the bowler's arm. Yeah, the people standing in that little corridor, which has got some black cloth covering it, but right next to it, people are almost sitting on the edge, and any movement there is obviously going to cause the right-handed batter facing a bowler bowling left arm over. How much of a factor is this in terms of a batsman just getting ready to start and then having to sort of pull away in the middle of something like this?
Yeah, I think everyone just wants to get going. If I'm the bowler here, I'm like, just let me get into my over, get the first one out the way. There's a lot of people moving directly behind the bowler's arm, filing into the seats, and because of these low, shallow stands here in Kolkata, it is in the batter's eye line now.
Most certainly is. And you almost see that there's a concentration there just in that little patch which is behind the bowler's arm. Well, they seem to be still enough for things to get underway. Here's Curry to Butler. Bowls, and he strikes him on the pad, but we're going down the leg side, but a good ball nevertheless, and the ricochet will allow a leg bye to be taken. Good delivery, came back in a shade, I think.
Yeah, Curry will swing the ball. Left arm swing bowler. The angle as well from left arm over means that right-handed batters are, if you block yourself off, you can be in a bit of trouble. Let's have a look at the seam position, and nicely pointing towards where a leg slip would be, pitching just outside leg though.
5 for 1. Now the left-handed Bethel. It's the deep fielder down at deep backward square and mirroring it a deep backward point. Here's Curry in bowls, and he squares him up. Defended on the offside, but not convincingly, Bethel. No damage done. Goes to the fielder at short extra, and there is no run. 5 for 1.
It already feels a bit nervy, doesn't it?
Yeah, you wonder why, isn't it? Easy to say sitting here, Finney.
Nice air-conditioned box.
Five for 1, chasing 153 to register their second win in the competition, England. As Curry comes in and bowls to Bethel, who's again no timing on that stroke, looking to crack it on the offside square. Gets the bottom part of the bat, and a single is all he'll get. So 6 for 1 in the second. The man out, Phil Salt, caught at cover, looking to sort of play a shot that we haven't quite got our head around in terms of what exactly he might have been thinking. He's back in the dugout, and Butler is back on strike. Slightly open stance, as we've often seen Butler, particularly with the angle of the bowler coming in left arm over the wicket. Bat raised, waits now for him, and wristily clips it through mid-wicket. Won't go all the way, and come back for 2 comfortable runs. That was a shot he was completely in control of, played very, very comfortably and elegantly. 8 for 1 now in the second over. And that's Butler's 4,000 runs in T20 internationals. I think he began with requiring 3, and he's exactly got those 3 runs, a single to go with this brace, and that's 4,000 runs, which is no mean achievement. Some changes in the field. The keeper's now up, Finney. That's what you wanted from ball one.
Well, if I was the opposition, definitely have him up.
There's Curry in now. Passes the umpire bowls and Butler defends. Bowler fields of his own bowling. This is a good tight start by Scotland.
Good start, good movement as well. I think the movement, England didn't find that. Archer and Overton, not necessarily renowned for their swing bowling, but the Scottish bowlers a touch shorter and slower, looking to get the ball up there and find movement, and they're certainly finding a bit of that.
Babar Azam, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, the three batters with more runs than Jos Buttler in T20 internationals. It's 500 shy of Babar. Here's Curry in bowls to Buttler, and he's got something on it. No, it's wide, but it's come right below us. The keeper standing up. That's one of the risks you take. And umpire Palekar signalling 4 wide, so that's 5 more runs to the total, and it's 13 for 1 with 1 ball to come.
Well, I've never understood why the keeper comes up to the stumps at this stage of the game.
That was great, Finney. That was terrific. Yes, here's Curry in again from the High Court end to bowl to Buttler. He's up, he bowls, and Butler's gone up in the air, but I think he's got enough on it, or has he not? Oh, he's taken! Man running back from mid-off is McMullen. And there is the big wicket of Jos Buttler, just having completed 4,000 runs, playing a shot, didn't get enough of it, went up in the air. A good catch indeed, running back from mid-off from McMullen. And the Scots are really, really happy now with 2 wickets in the first 2 overs. England find themselves 13 for 2. Kirsty, I beg your pardon.
Well, yes, unexpected there for Curry and for Scotland. Almost, you don't see Butler giving his wicket away like this very often in the power play, but it's excellent. They've really tightened the screws these first 2 overs. They've been right on the money. And McMullen, he's a brilliant fielder, and he took a fantastic catch against West Indies in the opener, and he's repeated it here. Not easy running backwards over his head. He's made it look easy though, that's for sure. England 13 for 2.
Finney.
Yeah, outstanding catch, and the keeper up to the stumps, we joke about it, but has meant that Butler isn't able to get right out to the pitch of that, so he's reaching for it as opposed to his head being right over the top of that ball. And because he's reached for it, his hands are through before the ball's got to him. It's a plinky toe edge, and he'd have been hoping that he'd have just got enough, and there was a moment where it felt as though McMullen just had to put the skates on, but he did. He settled underneath the ball, took a really good catch running back, and that's another huge wicket. 13 for 2, keeping pressure on. Indeed,
and as Kirsty said, he made it look easy, but really was anything but easy, that catch. There was a fair bit of ground to cover, and that too over his shoulder, running back with the lights in full effect. Jacob Bethel facing McMullen was taken that catch, and this is a pleasing stroke off the left-hander down towards point for Bethel to pick up a run. Didn't get all of it, didn't time it well again, but nevertheless a safe one, and 1 more to England's total, which is 14 for 2 now. The bat just swing as we watch that replay again, spin in his hand.
Yeah, I think because he was reaching for it, he was through the shot, so you're not making contact with the ball when you're anticipating, and then you lose your grip a bit. It hits the bottom corner of the bat, and the bat spins in the hand.
For Banton, the new man in, he's been short of runs in this tournament. This seems like as good a time as any to be able to correct that. He's now settling. There's a wall of purple almost. Well, that's been weakened a little bit. One fielder going out towards deep point. There's McMullen bowls, and once again this is just a little bit in the air. Is the pitch changed in character, or the Scotland bowlers just finding more on this?
I think it's not the pitch at all. The pitch is a belter. It's the discipline of length by the Scotland bowlers, and the keeper being up to the stumps means that England don't have the option to run down the pitch and attack the pitch of the ball as you would do if the keeper was back against this pace of bowling. They're trapped in the crease. There's a bit of movement there with good discipline.
McMullen into Bethel now, and Bethel works it away again on the onside, this time wide of mid-on. They'll take 1. So fielder runs round and stops the ball. Michael Leask there, just off the practice pitches away on our left. 16 for 2 in the third, chasing 153. Lights in full effect now. And this is, at least the start of this is certainly a tight competition, and that's what the crowd that's come here would be wanting. Nice looking shot, smartly fielded. Diving away to his left there. It's Davidson, I think it is. Berrington, I beg your pardon. And did well. That could have well skipped on from the practice pitches, but I dare say that might be 4 runs saved right there.
I think it's hit him in the face. It was nicely timed by Banton. Kicks up off the practice surface, off his heels of his hands, into his mouth, but
pushes him onto the back foot, does McMullen with that one, and defended quietly on the offside by Tom Banton. Sure, he realizes now it's not a very big imposing total, so England just might be well advised to just take it a little bit easy, just settle down, get a sense of the pace and any movement, if at all there is any. Having seen both openers depart, here's McMullen again. This one again, stump to stump, giving nothing away, and the crowd giving a big round of cheer as the bowler fielded off his own bowling. So tight, questioning, probing, inquisitive bowling. 3 overs gone, 16 for 2.
Excellent bowling, great discipline, and just hanging in there, asking the batters to make the mistakes, and at the moment the batters are duly obliging. And Scotland's outfielding has been excellent throughout this tournament, and again in a shorter chase like this, one where the batting team is expected to be on top, you have to take absolutely every chance. You have to feel like mongrels, be all over anything that comes to you, and Scotland have started well in every respect.
Right, the skipper just moving the field exactly where he wants it. It's all set now. The man had a very tight shot extra as well, as here's Curry in again, and this one's just played down at his feet by Bethel. The keeper's back, and that allows Bethel to be almost a foot and a half outside the batting crease. 16 for 2. Some quick bowlers get very upset when the keeper's up there, Finney. Is that something that you had a problem with?
No, keeper never stood up to me.
Oh, he never dared to?
No. Thankfully.
What would it have been like? Imagine.
He'd have been told very firmly to not stand up and go back. Yeah,
where he belongs.
There'd have been a big impasse in the game. Yeah.
16 for 2 as here's Curry in. Bowls and dabbed away on the offside for a quick single. 17 for 2. I can imagine this. I mean, I can imagine you being very firm.
No, I'd have said very politely, please,
of course,
if you wouldn't mind, please, would you mind going back somewhere near the 30-yard circle?
That would have been something. Banton now on strike. He's on 1 of 4. Bethel 6 of 9. The 2 men gone are the openers. Phil Salt the first to go, and then Jos Buttler in over number 1 and 2. Wicket apiece to McMullen and Curry, who's in his second over now. From the high court end, the far end. It's into bowl, and taking a step down the wicket was Banton. This could be trouble! Throw at the striker's end, and I think Bethel was not quite there in terms of taking off early enough. Banton, a stop, a skip, and then he charged through. In the end, the run is completed, but showing just a little bit of nerves there. It wasn't a clean single. 18 for 2 nevertheless. The run does get completed without any untoward incident. 4th ball of the 4th over coming up now from Curry to the left-handed Bethel, who's on 6. In he comes. Nice easy run up to the wicket. Angular bowls, and this one's flicked over the infield out towards Packwood square on the onside for a single. Again, not quite timed the way Bethel would have liked to. We've seen him time the ball so beautifully in both the games that he's batted in Mumbai. Doesn't seem in that kind of touch just at the minute.
No, not just yet. He's probably caught in between 2 minds at the moment as well. He needs to consolidate but also wants to try and make the most of the power play. With only 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle, but looking at the wider context of the game, I think would be wise for him at the moment. 134 needed from 98.
Here's Curry. Into bowl, he's up, he bowls, and this one's just a little bit of extra bounce there. And Banton is able to do no more than just push it into the mid-wicket region. He won't get a run. 19 for 2. It's a cool evening here in Kolkata. The lights taking effect. There's mercifully too early for any dew to form. That can often be a challenge here at the Eden Gardens, of course, as all these players will know. Curry turns. Last ball of his second and the fourth of the innings. There's 3 runs off it so far. He's up, he passes umpire Palekar, and he's in bowls, and this one's nicely worked away by Banton. There'll be a couple here before the fielder runs round. Michael Leask picks it up, sends it in, and 2 more to the total at the end of 4 overs. Then 21 for 2. Bethel 7, Banton 4. These two have put on 8, and England losing wickets at 2 and 13. Kirsty, what do you think Scotland are thinking of doing now?
Well, just continuing on how they've bowled in these first 4 overs, really keep the squeeze on, stay calm, especially if England do develop a bit of a partnership and the boundaries start flowing. The only ball that's gone to the boundaries so far has been a 5 wides off of Brad Curry. Yep. So it's been a real fantastic start from Scotland, but I think just staying sort of calm and level through this next period, because there will be a phase in the game where England sort of take momentum and Scotland just have to stay in it and try and wrestle it back at times.
Macmillan is ready, and he's going to bowl to Jacob Bethel with the keeper up again. Bowls, got something, and it's going down past the keeper down towards third. They'll come back for the second. Wait for the umpire's signal here. Got a bit of bat, did it? Looks like that. No signal from the umpire.
Yeah, there was definitely a woody noise and then a paddy noise, which suggests to me it was edge and then dropped by the keeper. But how big the deflection was, it was not a massive deflection either off the bottom of the bat. Is that going to be a drop chance? Maybe.
Well, it has to go down technically as one. This one's a little bit full in the air, just short of the man at mid-on. It's all happening here, Finney. Not quite striking it where he wanted to, Bethel. And this one almost carried to mid-on.
Yeah, this is there is a lot going on here. England just in a stranglehold at the moment from these Scottish bowlers. Keeper up to the stumps, wicket to wicket, scoreboard pressure.
Here's Macmillan again bowls, and this time Bethel has got one shot and he's hammered it away for a flat 6 wide of long on. That was a terrific shot, more like the Jacob Bethel we've seen earlier in the tournament and indeed before. 29 for 2, and Bethel's up to 15 now.
Yeah, not a great delivery, but still Bethel's foot movement is decisive here. When it's short of a length, attempted to swing it away, but back of a length, and it sits up for Bethel, but he's right back in his crease and rocks back as if he's hitting a spinner over wide long on. Needs to be as convincing when he's going forward here as well.
Macmillan in again bowls, and this time it's glided away deliberately and played fine down to third. So 6 and a 4 gets the engines purring now for England, and that takes the total up to 33. Bethel's raced up to 19. Very smartly played on this occasion, just waited on it a little bit and then opened the face of the bat away from the keeper who's standing up. 4 runs.
Yeah, those 2 boundaries will just allow England and the dugout just to breathe a little sigh of relief.
2 balls to come off the 5th over, and Macmillan will now look to try and find a way to tighten this. He's gone for 10 of the last 2 bowls, and Bethel's cracked this away. There'll be 4 more. Suddenly the floodgates open, as it often does in cricket, doesn't it? The shackles seem to have been broken. Bethel's gone 6-4-4, and it looks a completely different ball game. 37 for 2.
Yeah, nice timing by Bethel. Just outside off stump again, but when you offer a left-hander like Bethel, that little bit of width inside the power plate, it just leans back and crunches it through backward point. for a nicely timed 4 runs, and that sequence of 3 deliveries make Bethel feel a lot better.
Yeah, 14 coming off those 3 balls. This one's nice and full and goes to the fielder on the bounce at the edge of the circle. At short third, that'll be the end of the over. An expensive 116 coming off it. 37 for 2 as the game takes another little twist on its way to where it'll end. Kirsty, your thoughts? Finney's going to stay on and Henry stepping in after a few words from you, Kirsty.
Yes, well, that is now that sort of changing point in the game, isn't it? A little bit where England will just breathe a little sigh of relief, back up to sort of a total that you would more expect of them in the power play, really. And it's just a little bit of a momentum shifter. But I felt this, could happen at some stage, and it's about Scotland staying calm here and knowing that just one more wicket in the power play here really puts the game back in the balance again.
Indeed. Well, Finney is going to have a little bit of a break as the sun sets here in Kolkata, and this game 37 for 2 as Wheel runs in from the far end with Banton on strike. And, that's a good ball. Beats the outside edge. And Tom Banton was one of those accused of being tentative the other day, Kirsty. I've never seen a more tentative innings in my life than this one so far, these 8 balls.
Yeah, I was thinking Banton is under a bit of pressure, isn't he? 2 games, 2 low scores, not really looked convincing. A few calls around, is Harry Brook wasted at 5? Should he be up at number 4? So, yeah, Banton under a bit of pressure here, and he's really yet to make an impact on this tournament.
Former KKR player knows these surroundings and plays that nicely, skewing the ball away off the face of the bat down towards the fielder at deep backward point. 1 run taken. So I did posit the question to our stats gurus as to when, if ever, England have gone the first 4 overs of a T20 international without scoring a single boundary. And it has happened just once before, 16 years ago, against Pakistan in Dubai. Thank you, Kieran. England after 4 were 18 for 1, with Jonathan Trott on 7 off 13.
Good old school T20 cricket.
Come on, get past that. 38 for 2, chasing 153. 4 balls left of the power play. Bethel will tuck the ball away down towards fine leg. There might be a couple there. Banton and Bethel are a quick duo, and they do indeed turn for the second, get that second, and England move their total to 40 for 2. By the way, highlights available on the BBC Sport website and app, and we also have a podcast coming for you later on today where we will not only review this match wherever it may go, but also bring you a preview of the big game tomorrow, Pakistan against India in Colombo, 1:30 start UK time. Bethel beaten legitimately by one that fizzed on through to cross outside the off stump. He took a little guilty look behind him. It's been good bowling from Scotland, who at this point were 42 for 2 in their innings.
Yeah, and really good from Brad Wheel as well. His first over against Italy went for 23. He was really expensive in the power play. He's been right on the money today.
Certainly has. As we see Bethel on strike, 25 off 18 for the young left-hander, and he's going to get possibly 4 here, actually. It's nicely angled, but brilliantly fielded, and there's going to be one of those little checks, I imagine, but I think Leask has probably saved a couple of runs there. That was excellent work at deep third.
Yeah, he scuttled round quickly there, didn't he, and made an excellent effort, and that's exactly what Finney's been speaking about, and how well Scotland are going to have to field to keep applying this pressure onto England as much as they can, force them to create some options out of the ordinary. I think he's done extraordinarily well there, hasn't he?
I think so, and the crowd recognise that. Matthew Cross, the keeper's got his hands high above his head in applause, and Leask, with a smile on his face, sees confirmation that it is just a couple of runs. So 5 from the over so far. England's required rate 7.84. 1 ball left of the power play. Bethel on strike. Bethel will angle the ball down towards Leask again, who has an easier job this time, doesn't have to move. 1 taken and 6 overs gone. 43 for 2 is the score, as we see Drinks coming onto the field with the game in England's favour, but those 2 early wickets that saw England 13 for 2 will certainly give Scotland plenty of optimism that if they can keep applying pressure, then they could yet make this a really interesting game. Kirsty Gordon, England spinner, is with us. Forgive me, former England spinner, Scotland spinner these days, Kirsty.
It's all right, it's confusing.
It is confusing. You played in a World Cup for England, representing Scotland these days, and a Scotland side, actually, who, let me say, are an increasing force, despite some of the challenges they face in getting enough fixtures, an increasing force in the women's game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just qualified for the World Cup, the T20 World Cup that will be in England this summer in 2026. So hugely exciting time for Scottish cricket to have the men out here now at the World Cup and the women playing in one later this year as well. So Scottish cricket on the up, and like you say, just we need associate cricket to get more funding, more fixtures, and absolutely we can compete with these big teams.
If you want to get in touch and join the conversation, then tms@bbc.co.uk is the way to do so. Sophie has done that after a 36-degree day in Perth, Australia. Despite being happy to dress head to toe in orange and be one of 40,000 screaming for the Perth Scorchers, I'm not really an authentic T20 fan, says Sophie. However, I've been sucked into this tournament by all of the vicarious travel, loved hanging out with you Brits in South Asia while I sit in my swimmers after a dip at Leighton Beach. Well, that sounds a very nice thing to be doing on a late summer's afternoon down under. As we get emails coming in from Scott, who's about to drive a teenage son to work in Edinburgh, hoping for a double miracle with Scotland beating England at the cricket and the rugby today.
Well, he's not wrong, is he? It would be a double miracle, especially from here on in, but we have our hopes high.
Well, you never know, and there is always the prospect something exciting can happen, and a shock can happen very quickly in cricket, particularly T20 cricket. What won't be a shock is to anybody listening that the DJ stadium announcer is doing their absolute best to make as much noise as is humanly possible, as quickly as is humanly possible in the intervening time between the end of the over and the start of the next one. The ground is literally shaking, and this is an old venue built of concrete with speakers the size of tower blocks, and as he bellows and the music blares, it is quite the intimidating experience, I have to say. 43 for 2 is the score. England 6 overs, having been in a little bit of strife when Butler went for 3 and Salt went for 2. We'll now have the challenge of Leask's bowling, and Bethel and Banton, with Bethel on 28 and Banton on 5, have built a partnership worth 30 of 24. Bethel deep in his crease will look for a run down the ground and get it as well. He's been very impressive in his career to date, Jacob Bethel, Kirsty.
Yeah, he's made an excellent start to his career in all formats that he's played so far. He's been really good for England at number 3, and not a gamble as such a pick, but you did wonder whether he could live up to that expectation that he's had on him.
Email from Anthony. Born in Yorkshire, from Yorkshire parents, but lived in Scotland for nearly 50 years. Now living in Lombok, Indonesia, and listening to the commentary willing England on. Well, there you go. 44 for 2. Banton waits, clips into the onside for 1. England move to 45 for 2.
Leask's been excellent for Scotland this tournament so far. It's not easy bowling off spin on these pitches to right-handed batters, but he does a great job of it round the wicket.
Here is Leask again. Tall figure, cropped hair, 29 on his back with the long sleeves, and he's coming round the wicket with his off-spin. And Bethel will hammer the ball out towards deep cover off the back foot, towards Langpan Dada stand. Got the Pankaj Roy stand. Now, what I rather like here, Kirsty, is at the front of each of the tiers where the stands are named, the names of the stands are actually lit up. So each letter is lit. So they sort of shine out of the gloom. In comes Leask, and forward comes Banton. That is an ugly wallop, but he gets 4 for it. His first boundary. It was not a shot that resembled anything any guidebook will give you, but it was a pretty effective one. 50 for 2 is the England score, and Banton finally gets the ball, if not off the middle of the bat, well, certainly a chunky enough part of it to bring him a boundary.
Well, again, probably showing that this pitch has got no demons in it, and it's just as good as it was at the start of the game, when you can not get anywhere near it and play shots like that and find 4.
Nudged into the onside again by Banton. Looking for a second, it won't be there as it's fielded by Wheel. 51 for 2, productive over this for England, 8 from it thus far.
I enjoyed Prakash's little history lesson around about the names of the stands and the ground at Eden Gardens. It was very interesting.
This is smacked away into the offside, out towards deep backward point, towards Michael Jones. 1 taken, Bethel to 31. He'll keep the strike. 9 from the over. It's 52 for 2. Part of what is such a treat about World Cup cricket, Kirsty, and you've played around the world as well, is learning the stories and the little details about venues and grounds and history. And I love the story about the Calcutta Cup that they'll be playing for in the rugby later on today, made here in this city, with the melting down of some old rupees that were made into the trophy, and the rugby club still has a trophy there in this city. And it's those little details, those stories about this wonderful game of ours and the history around it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and I didn't know that as well, so I've loved that I've learned a little bit of history about Scotland and England and India and how it all connects together. It's a nice moment that the game is here today.
Yeah, there's a lovely little bit of symmetry. We're going to see Wheel running in to bowl to Bethel, who plays with a straight bat, back towards the bowler, fields nicely off his own bowling. There's no run. Leslie. Hello everyone from a sunny but cold central Scotland. Test match special, the soundtrack to my summer. But there's something really comforting listening in the winter. I'm Scottish with a Scottish mum, but my dad was English. Gave me a love of cricket. He used to listen to TMS when he was in the garden. I usually follow and support the English team at cricket. Today, I'm hoping for a Scotland victory. Here's Wheel over the wicket to the left-handed Bethel. Hits the ball in the air, down the ground without much timing, and it'll drop well short of the fielder at long on. And 1 run is taken, 53 for 2. Banton in the long sleeves will be on strike as dusk sets in and these huge floodlights that rather resemble something you might see at an airport more than you would a cricket ground. Great big towering pylons with the red and the white metal framing, hundreds of bright lights beaming down. Banton waits for Wheel and just drops the ball towards short cover, up on his toes, no run. Wheel's been exceptional so far, Kirsty. 9 balls bowled, 7 conceded.
He has, he's been right on the money today, which is excellent. It's exactly what Scotland need. You just feel that the game's just teetering along here, which is, you know, sort of in the balance, but you just feel like it's 1 or 2 big England overs away from getting a little bit out of hand for Scotland, and that's the nature of having a below par total on the board.
100 needed from 75 balls for England. Banton waits. Comes forward looking to get 4 runs round the corner. What a fine stop that is. I have to say, Mark Watt, I was not backing you to stop that, and at short fine leg he's plunged low in a very well worn Scotland cap and managed to prevent 4 runs from the bat of Banton, who must have expected that was going to fizz to the boundary, but he's done brilliantly there to his left. Watt.
Yeah, it's excellent. That's all you need to do there. Get a hand on it, save 3 runs there. It's an excellent bit of work from Mark Watt, who'll be wanting to get in the game shortly with the ball.
Yep, that'll be a challenge for England. 99 needed from 74. Bethel drops into the offside, looking for a run that he won't find. Scotland's fielding, by the way. Catch percentage best in the tournament. They haven't dropped a single thing, 100%. You can't ask for more than that.
You absolutely can. And I must say, when they played that opener against West Indies, I did wonder whether they'd be a bit rusty. A lot of them have been in the indoor school in Edinburgh training, and it's very different to the preparation of the other teams, but they've been on the money.
Here comes Wheel, final ball of the over, and Bethel swings, misses through to the keeper, and that is an excellent over. Just 2 from it. England's required rate 8.25. Wheel's bowled 2 overs, none for 8. He's having a really good day as he takes his purple towel from the umpire and just mops his forehead. The saltires that are draped over the front of the stand, just waving gently in the light breeze that we've got the Sourav Ganguly stand where we find ourselves occupied. There's a sea of spectators. It is a wonderful scene in front of us. I mean, there has to be 50,000 in for a neutral match. It's a brilliant crowd. Mark Watt with shirt untucked. It's the biggest shirt in the tournament, it has to be. It's an absolute monster. There is a lot of material in that. He's coming in now with his spin. His left arm spin as Banton comes forward. It's hit in the air, down the ground, 6. And Tom Banton in this side, because of how he plays spin, well, he gets one look at Mark Watt and dismisses the ball down towards the dressing rooms below us.
Well, that's a statement of intent from Tom Banton there. That's how he's going to play the spin. Harry Brook, his captain, said earlier he's a fantastic player of spin. He's put Mark Watt straight under pressure.
But it almost took out the chief curator's shed. Watt round the wicket with the left arm spin. Banton tries the trick again. Massive shot down the ground. Back-to-back 6s from Banton. Watt under pressure. At England 66 for 2, it's a monster.
Huge from Banton. He's evidently decided this is the point he's going. No messing around, down the track again, clean strike. It's gone sailing into the crowd, and Watt.
Long on a long off or out. Banton's not worried about it, and he swings hard at that as well. Misses, wide is signalled by the umpires. So 13 off the first 2 legitimate balls of the over. England need 86 from 70.
Oh, I think he's a bit hard done by there with the wide. What do you reckon?
Left arm Scottish spinner there, Kirsty Gordon, responds to wide given against left arm Scottish spinner Mark Watt.
Absolutely no bias whatsoever in the commentary box.
None whatsoever. 54 from 39 this partnership is worth. Watt moves it again. Dropped in short, and Banton's gone into the leg side for 6 more. 6, wide, 6. What an over. What pressure on Watt.
I'll see what you did there, Henry. Very good.
Unintentionally, actually, but it feel like he got all of it. Felt like he came quite high on the bat, but he's got enough to go over mid-wicket for 6.
Shows the power he exposes off the back foot there. It's excellent pickup of length. It's not a great ball from Watt, but it's well punished by Banton, and he's really into his groove now.
19 off the over so far. Just 3 legitimate balls have been bowled in it. Watt to Banton, and that will not be a 6. Instead, it'll probably just be 1, maybe 2. It'll be 2. Good tumbling save below us. And 21 from the over so far with 2 balls left of it. So Banton is on 32 from 18, and how quickly an innings can change. Tom Banton v Mark Watt, who keep an eye out for where he bowls from, because he sometimes bowls from almost sort of next to the umpire. It's one of his party tricks. Oh, massive swing from Banton. There's a stumping attempt. The bails light up. They might just have a look at this, because it's one of those where the foot might have lifted just a touch. So they'll have a little sneaky glance at it.
It's amazing how quickly the whole sort of momentum and the balance of the game can just shift. The required run rate was a little bit above 8s not long ago, and now it's below 7s. Just changes with this over.
Roger on the email, by the way, we're having a look at that. There is foot behind the line, so he's okay. What do you think of having home internationals in cricket like we had in football back in the day? Maybe to start the season off? Well, there's been quite a lot of talk about this from certain quarters. Banton whips the ball in the air. He's not got all of that, and he gets a little fortune. Actually dropped short of the fielder at wide long on. End of the over. A punishing one for Watt. 22 from it, and England need 77 from 66 balls. We're at 9 overs. The partnership's now worth 63 or 43. I mean, I'm absolutely with you, Roger. I think the fact that England against Scotland is a fixture that has happened just twice in the last 11 years is so peculiar to me, given the proximity geographically and actually the proximity in terms of quality between the two sides when given the opportunity. The last ODI they played was won by Scotland, and they were on course for a really big total in Barbados the last time these sides met.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's easy to say, you know, with the Scotland hat on, the benefits that it would have for Scottish cricket to host England or vice versa and play these fixtures. With an England perspective, you think, where would they find time in the schedule for more cricket? It's a difficult prospect.
So here comes Ollie Davidson. Left arm spin to Banton, who, it's a quick ball first up, whips towards the leg side, and Bethell is eager for the second run. He'll get home to the danger end as well. England require 75 from 65. Banton and Bethell with Davidson, who's got a hairstyle I won't be myself going for, sort of short round the sides, longer at the back. It's a sort of, it's mullet adjacent, I would say. Next ball to Banton, walloped into the leg side, out towards the deep. Be fielded by Munsey out there at wide long on. The rather distracting disco lights at the top of the stand, I don't think can be doing an awful lot for the batters, actually, which are flashing right around the top tier of the stand at the far end, the Biz Wanath Dutt stand. And I think if I was Jacob Bethell, I might say, do you know, I'd quite like some of this to be just turned down a touch. But anyway, he doesn't seem too bothered. It's worth remembering, by the way, Scotland at this point 79 for 3, England are 79 for 2. Davidson over the wicket, and Bethell helps it on its way, but only straight to the fielder at short fine leg. Bethell goes for 32, and he looks so disappointed. He can't believe he's picked out that fielder. The trap was set, and he walked straight on into it. England 79 for 3.
Big wicket for Scotland. A big partnership there from Bethell and Banton was just developing nicely enough to take the game too far out of Scotland's reach. That wicket comes in a timely manner. Davidson would have thought, after watching Mark Watts, the senior left arm spinner of the pairs, over going for 22, wondering what he might expect himself, but he's found some success, a little bit flatter, quicker into the pitch, and it's been tucked round the corner, and off he goes. The big Alan Shearer celebration, one of my personal favourites from Ollie Davidson.
Loved that, yeah. One arm up, and Bethell marches off, and as Ben Duckett walks past him wearing a England high-vis vest, I think it's normally the way that players don't tend to exchange looks and thoughts on an innings until all is said and done, but he looks very disappointed, does Bethell. 79 for 3 then, England, who needs 74 from 63. Kirsty on the email says, I'm Kirsty Gorman, pottering around in my pyjamas in frosty Lancaster, eating toast and drinking tea, and every time you say you're handing over to Kirsty Gordon, you're making me jump. Understandably, Kirsty. It is a bit confusing.
I've almost got a namesake there.
I know. So Harry Brook comes to the middle, England 79 for 3. Zach on the email, stuck in Southampton Hospital for the last week with my little son, but at least we've got TMS for company, which has been a godsend. I can't help but think if Scotland beat England today, we'll be a little more disappointed that Jersey just missed out on the tournament. Come on, England. Zach and Avi, thank you for getting in touch, and hope you're all doing okay. Davidson bowling to Harry Brook, will get a run into the onside immediately, just tapping out towards wide long on. England 80 for 3. Lovely to hear what you're all up to. Anthony's in the Costa Blanca in Spain, 90km/h winds, currently on a long 25km training run, running the London Marathon in April, raising money for the Ruth Strauss Foundation and hoping for a double England victory today. 25 kilometres is quite a long way, isn't it? Here comes Davidson. 2 balls left of the 10th over. Flogged into the onside, probably for a couple. Fielders running round, they will get back for 2. As Banton moves his personal tally on to 38. England 82 for 3. 1 ball left until the halfway point in the innings. Here is Davison at the far end of the ground. Moving in to bowl to Tom Banton, who's rocking back and smacking the ball towards cover point. Bruce will field, and the over comes to an end. 6 from it. And England 82 for 3. So they're over halfway there in terms of runs. 71 from 60 required, but there is still going to be plenty that Scotland will feel they can do in this game. with 10 overs gone. They've got 3 wickets. Brook and Banton together. Stephen Finn joins us once more, but I'm going to throw to you, Kirsty Gordon, for some mid-innings thoughts. Midway through the innings thoughts at least, and then hand over to Prakash.
Well, I'm quite enjoying watching Ollie Davidson here on the screen, just reading some notes that somebody's handed him. I wonder if that was before or after the wicket of Jacob Bethel. If it was before, they've certainly had something genius on that. But yes, I think England definitely in the driving seat here. This is a key partnership. The captain, Harry Brook, at the crease. He's such a dangerous player that you just worry the game could drift if he gets himself in and gets going. But for now, Scotland will feel they've still got an outside chance.
Well, they've got to believe, don't they? They've got to keep the faith, as they say. And fresh over. Right arm off spin, worked away square on the onside for a single. They're racing through the first. They'll go back for the second. Yes, they will, and get it too comfortably. So Brook picks up 2 more runs. He's up to 3. England 84 for 3. Finney, things looking distinctly better.
Yeah, you felt as though Scotland was squeezing, and then just England managed to break that stranglehold. The wicket of Bethel could provide Scotland an opportunity to squeeze again here.
Least right arm over the wicket. Around the wicket, I beg your pardon. Worked away square on the onside in the air, but no fielder close by. May have just rushed onto him a little bit. Result was that he couldn't keep it down, but he'll pick up the single he was looking for. It's 85 for 3 with Brook on 4. Banton, as we'd said, not quite coming to the party in the first 2 games. Certainly playing an important innings tonight when it mattered. 38 not out of 24, including those 3 big sixes in a couple of overs ago. Fired in at the toes, worked away square on the onside. They'll take 1 and be content with it. Will the England batters? 86 now for 3.
Yeah, you certainly look at it and think Banton, his strike rate against spin in T20 cricket is the best in the world, 195 I think it is, over the last couple of years. So clearly a real strong point, and the reason why he's batting at 4 in this team.
He's bowled, and this one's been put in the air. It's gone! Yet another England batter, and this time is the England skipper. Falls to that little ramp shot, not dissimilar to the way that Jacob Bethel got out. And Scotland have struck just again at the moment when it was beginning to look a little bit more comfortable for England. 86 for 4.
Well, the squeeze from Scotland post the Bethel wicket works. And Harry Brook desperate to hit a boundary, wanting to use the pace of Leask, who's bowling into the pitch from round the wicket. He gets himself in a tangle, and it hits very high up on the bat, and it top edges towards Brad Wheel, who running around from short fine leg takes a simple catch over his right shoulder, and Scotland have gone bang bang, and the complexion of the game changes again. England under pressure
yet again. Yes, and Sam Curran, who played a lone hand in that innings when England didn't get over the line, but he certainly would be feeling good from the personal point of view, having got some runs under his belt in the previous game. Now comes in with England in a little bit of a spot here. 86 for 4 in the 11th, 67 of 56. So the ball and run equation isn't the problem. If England just play normal cricket, you'd think they should be able to get over this. But 2 quick wickets, those of Jacob Bethel and Harry Brook, certainly giving the Scots some renewed hope. 86 for 4 in the 11th. Curran settles, crouching stance, waits for Leask, who bowls, and he drives, and Leask isn't able to cleanly stop the ball. As a result, the single off the ricochet, and off the mark is Curran. 87 for 4.
Yeah, and big responsibility now on Banton's shoulders. He has his start, 39 from 25, but he has to grab this innings by the scruff of the neck now. He has to marshal it with the new batters that have come in, build this partnership with Curran. If Banton goes here, really does give Scotland an in from both ends. They can heap the pressure on England.
Here's Leask again in bowls, and this one's cracked away with the back foot. Good looking shot. This will run away for 4. Making room, leaning back, using the depth of the crease there is Tom Banton, and finds 4 runs at extra cover, completely in control. 91 for 4. and Banton's up to 43 with 11 overs completed now, 62 from 54.
Yeah, I love a nice piece of timing from Tom Banton, using the depth of his crease well, waiting for the ball, realising the fielder out on the boundary was at backward point and not in front of square, and allowing the middle of the bat this good pitch and the quick outfield to do all the work for him. He moves on to 43. He's playing an important innings for England here.
You'd say that again, probably one of the most important ones that he's certainly got a start for. And as you said, Finney, when you get in, you want to try and be there and see it through. Davidson continue. He's into his second over now. His first over went for 6 to the left-handed Curran. He's got a really crouchy stance as he bends over the bat, waits and cracks it, times it nicely, but straight to the fielder. That's Berrington there, Richard Berrington, who feels there will be no run. When really struck it well, but couldn't pierce the field. In comes Davidson again, left arm over bowls, full toss, cracked away, and will beat the fielder or will not. Now, great work again in the deep on the boundary there. I think it's Curry running around to his right and puts his body right on the line to make sure that he saves 2 runs for his team. 93 for 4, Curran up to 3. The fielding's been absolutely outstanding. Good stop. Needed that kind of backup, the bowlers. This one probably just slipping out of his hand a little. It was a nice juicy full toss outside off.
It was juicy, wasn't it?
Here's Davidson, nicely played away by Curran. They'll look for the second, will they? They change their mind as the fielder gets there quickly at where wideish mid-on or a straightish mid-wicket might have been. 94 for 4 now in the 12th over. It's remarkable for me, Finney, to see, and gratifying as well, I must confess, that so many people for a neutral game present here at the Eden Gardens. For many it'll just be an occasion to come out with the family, friends, celebrate. Over pitch driven nicely out towards long off. Beautiful timing there from Banton, and yet again outstanding work in the deep. Make sure that there is no third run. Very good work. So Scotland maybe adding 10-20 to the total with the way they've fielded today. 96 for 4. England now require 57 from 50. So the runs and balls equation now getting closer and closer, and the closer it gets, it benefits England obviously. Davidson bowls on the leg stump, worked away by Banton. Comfortable for a single. 5 coming off this, 6 coming off this over already with 1 ball to come. And England now have 56 required from 49 balls. Curran is 4. Banton really holding this innings together. He's on 46 of 28. That's the other factor. Not only has he contributed, but he's done that in quick time. Davidson bowls to Curran. Curran eases it on the offside. Won't get a run this time. So that's the end of the over. 6 coming off it. 2 overs, 1 for 12 for Ollie Davidson. And 97 for 4 of 12 is the England total.
You'd imagine the IPL has got quite a bit to do with this crowd as well, wouldn't you? The fact that it has made superstars of Butler, Curran, Bethel, people like that, who Will Jacks has scored 100 in the IPL, hasn't he? So you'd imagine
Phil
the
Salt.
opportunity. Oh, Salt as well, sorry, yeah, 2-time IPL winner. You'd imagine that influence is why people are here interested in this England team, or both teams, but you'd say predominantly the England players who played in the IPL.
Scotland drawn them here just because their shirt colour is not very far from KKR's. Maybe that's the other thing. But I think it also got to do with lots of these people probably don't get a chance to get into the IPL games, so just to come here and see and feel the atmosphere with 2 international sides. Fresh over, nicely played off the back foot. Boy, he's timing the ball really well there. Just leans back and lets the timing take it all the way down towards long off single. 98 for 4. Banton now 47. 55 of 47 is the equation, with since the fall of Harry Brooks' wicket a little bit of calm coming into the England batting with Sam Curran now on strike on 4 and Banton continuing the good work he's been doing. He's on 47. Here's Michael Leask bowls, nicely played in the gap. This one races off the practice pitches and yet again outstanding, absolutely outstanding fielding by Curry there, flinging himself to the right, body on the line, and that's something that this crowd really appreciated. Big round of cheer for him as the 100 comes up as well for England. So 100 for 4, and Leask goes in, tosses this one up slower through the air, and Curran is awake, just pushes it quietly back to the bowler. 13th over in progress. Just feel that Scotland have to make a breakthrough here if there's something to happen. Curran is checking his shot, and just as well. Again, smart bit of fielding by the bowler of his own. Followed through, diving his full length to the right. Definitely adding at least 15 runs, if not more, to their total, Scotland, with their outstanding ground fielding. This one's off the back foot, pushed away towards wideish mid-off for a single. He'll move on to 7, Will Curran, and one more ball to come. 101 for 4. England choosing to do it, what you might argue is a more pragmatic way, not looking for the big shots. They know they've got the target in control, and yet it was that little sort of jet engine boost that Banton provided with those 3 sixes, which certainly got them on the way. This one's again on the pads, turned away down towards square for a single on the onside. 102 now for 4. 13 overs have been bowled. Banton's 48, Curran's on 7, and England now require 51 of 42.
Yeah, they've played well and negotiated it well. Banton has played well and negotiated it well, and that partnership with Bethel at an important time, they sucked up the pressure, didn't they, at the back end of the power play. They built, they took their opportunity to score, and then Bethel helped that one round the corner, and Scotland realigned. But now these two just taking the wind out of Scotland's sails slightly. It will leave Scotland desperate for a wicket, chasing a wicket maybe, which can sometimes help the scoreboard move quicker, but their ground fielding and catching in particular has been outstanding so far today.
100% record catches in the tournament, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Haven't dropped anything. It'd be really harsh if that one outside edge on the pad with the keeper standing up goes against them to spoil that perfect 100% record. Well, it's Curry's back into the attack with Seam. He's into Banton now, and Banton is driving it up towards the fielder coming off the long off boundary. Kirsty Gordon still obviously with us, and Kirsty, how are you feeling now with 50 of 41 needed?
Well, you summarised it well. They really need a wicket, don't they? Especially the one of Banton, the prized wicket at the minute with the way he's been playing.
Yes, England would dearly not want that to happen, and I think the Scottish skipper bringing back Curry in the hope that he can strike here. Left arm over the wicket is into Curran, inside edge of the bat. Ball squirts out towards backward of square. He'll take 1. 104 for 4. 49 of 40. What's holding back the very obvious England batting powerhouse, Finney? What do you think? It's in Mumbai, maybe it was the nature of the pitch a little bit.
Yeah, but confidence can play a part, can't it? And trusting yourself and trusting yourself in the moment to make the right decisions. I think if you fail a couple of times, it can make you second guess, maybe.
Here's Curry in from the high court end. He bowls, and this one's off the back foot, driven onto the offside, straight to the fielder. They won't get a run. 104 for 4.
You just have to keep trusting yourself and backing yourself. Tom Banton came into this game off the back of a couple of low scores and maybe a little bit under pressure, given that Ben Duckett is on the sidelines, who is a very adept player of spin through those middle overs. But he's trusted his process. He backed himself to take Watt down for those 3 sixes, got his innings going, and now looks really good.
Yes, he's on 49 now, waits for Curry. Curry's in bowls and driven firmly. That will get to the boundary, and that will be his 50 as well. Gets a round of applause from this goodly crowd here at the Eden Gardens, and rightly and richly deserved. He raises his bat to both the dugout and then to the crowd. Very, very good innings, as you said, Finney, coming off 2 low scores. Already a lot of chatter in some quarters about whether he should be there, whether Root should be there, or whatever else, but he's let the bat do the talking. 108 for 4 now in the 14th. Here's Curry in. Bowls and turned away to shot fine straight to the fielder at the edge of the circle. No run.
Well, letting the bat do the talking is always the correct thing to let do the talking, you'd have to say. Unless you're a bowler, then you let the ball do the talking.
Well, I mean, if you're a bowler and you do let the bat do the talking with great innings, it's even better, isn't it?
It's extra satisfying.
Yes, but it, like you said, I think when players know that they have the ability, a couple of poor innings don't define anyone, and Banton certainly doing what his team required. 45 of 37 for England. Curry in, bowls, and he plays it nicely, in control, not trying to overhit it at all, and will take the single and will retain the strike. 7 coming off that over. 109 for 4 now, with 44 runs separating England. But Scotland certainly have pushed England again here. For a little while, when in the mid-innings break, one thought that on a pitch that looked as good as it is, there would be a run feast and England could get over this quickly. Scotland haven't allowed that to happen. First from you, and then a few thoughts from Kirsty as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They started brilliantly with the ball. Their fielders backed it up. They created an atmosphere and an environment. They were probably half looking back to their first 6 overs with the bat and thinking, if we'd have only lost 1 wicket there, we probably would have ended up 20 runs further on, at least at the back end of the game. But you can't play the game looking retrospectively like that. You have to just play what's in front of you, and they've been brilliant in the field.
Kirsty, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Vinny's summarised that very well there. I think that, had Scotland managed to get 20 or 30 more runs, whether that be from the power play or from that phase at the back end where wickets just consistently fell, they could have really put England under the screws in that phase that Bethel and Banton were just allowed to sort of mosey along and settle themselves in. I must say that over from Banton, where he took down Mark Watt, one of Scotland's most experienced bowlers, was really, for me, where the game turned on its head, because the run rate was able to come down a bit, reduce, and England were able to sort of settle into their rhythm and take out a bowler completely out of Scotland's attack, a key bowler in that as well. So I think they're completely under control now, and with the likes of Will Jacks and Overton still to come, and even somebody like Liam Dawson, his sort of nature and his ability to rotate the strike could be really crucial if they did have a little crumble from here on in. I think it's massively England's game to lose now.
Well, England's game to lose, and England would dearly want to make sure that doesn't happen, because they do need this win. They'll obviously want to try and get this as quickly as they can. They need 44 of 36, which by itself is no difficult ask at all. But Scotland will probably, having this little drinks break, just give them the last chance to roll of the dice, as it were, to try and see if they can conjure up a miracle or two. Because I suspect 1 won't be enough. They'll need 2 rabbits at least from the hat if they are to push England to the brink here. 109 for 4. The DJ has certainly gone into full overdrive. The mobile phones with the torches are on. This is a sight to be seen here at the Eden Gardens, and it's only about 45-50% full. Terrific sight with the torches on. What I'm grateful for, Finney, is that they didn't switch off the big tower lights, because that's what they do in some grounds, and that can be really disconcerting for the players on the field, because they go from bright light to almost complete darkness. But no such shenanigans here. We're ready for play to resume, with the drinks going off the field. 109 for 4, requiring 44 of 36 England, and we're going to see Michael Leask bowling his final over. He's got 1 for 23 of his 3 overs so far, and the man on strike is the man of the moment so far for England, Tom Banton, batting on 54 of 35, strike rate of a little over 150, and Sam Curran doing just the right thing, acting as his foil. He's on 8 of 10, and this partnership 23 of 20. When they got together to the fall of Harry Brooks' wicket, things did look just a little bit dicey. Down the wicket comes Banton and gets an inside edge down towards shot fine. He'll get the single. And this is the first real shot that we've seen from Banton where it looked like it was premeditated and he wanted to get on with it quickly and put Leask under early pressure. Luckily for him, just took enough of the bat to ensure that he got the single and there was no damage. Curran now on strike. 3 men inside the ring on the offside. Lone fielder in the ring. Shot pulled away and that'll be 6. He might be a small man, but he packs a punch, does Sam Curran. He went down, waited a fraction, and then clean as a whistle over mid-wicket for 6. Terrific shot. 116 for 4, and Curran's into double figures now.
Yeah, he's not missed his length by much here, Leask. Gets back over length around top of the stump's height. But Curran goes right back in his crease, sets his base and mows it over deep mid-wicket for 6.
Again shot, pulled away again, and this might now. Good bit of fielding because it went on the bounce, and a good bounce for the fielder coming round to his left, because once it hits those practice pitches, anything is possible. Sometimes the ball just deviates, skids through. It didn't happen, so a single is all that Curran got, and 117 for 4 now with 3 balls of the 15th over to come. 36 of 33. You'd say it's very comfortable from here as Leask bowls worked away into the mid-wicket region for a comfortable run. Banton really playing, I think, the perfect kind of innings. He's hit the ball that he's confident of. Now that he realizes that the target's in sight, he knows he doesn't need to do anything silly. 118 for 4. Banton's on 56 as he waits for the field to change. Long run from one end of the ground to the other for Thomas Bruce, who's now positioned himself at this deep mid-wicket boundary. 3 men in an arc on the onside boundary. Leask bowls, and this time Curran looking to glide it away through the offside. Won't beat the fielder at the edge of the circle. It remains 118 for 4. Run a ball almost from here on in. Last ball of the 15th over coming up. Michael Leask has bowled his 3.5 overs, 32 runs and the 1 wicket to him. He'd dearly like another one. Change in the field now. What mental games are being played here? Mid-on's being brought up, so almost suggesting to Sam Curran that he might want to take that option over the mid-on. And he does pick it up in the air, but no, it drops well short. Just rushing him a little there and holding his head, Leask wondering what might have been. 15 overs gone. England need 34 from 30. And some more thoughts from Stephen Finn, and then Henry Moran in for commentary.
Yeah, it feels like England are in control, but pressure and wickets do funny things, so Scotland just have to retain the hope and the fight and the desire and the belief that they can just sneak one through either Curran or Banton here and then try and realign. This is going to be Mark Watt's second over. His first one went for 22. Wouldn't surprise me if Curran and Banton may look to take him down again here to try and put this game out of sight.
Could be a crucial 6 deliveries this. If England do get hold of it, then it could be done and dusted pretty much. But if he can get the wicket, then England 5 down will feel under pressure. He's going to come over the wicket with the left arm spin, and Curran goes hard at that, mighty hard at it. 6 of the best. What a hit from Sam Curran. He's not the biggest, but he can hit the ball a long way.
Well, brilliant strike. Quick from Watt, almost out the front of the hand, just looking to get into the over, but Curran says no, just outside the off stump. Perfect length for whacking up over wide long on. The pressure's on Watt again here.
Huge hit. 28 needed off 29. Watt to Curran, who's going to swing that down towards fine leg. 1 run will be taken. Banton on strike. Kirsty as a spin bowler. Last thing you want to see at the start of an over. How do you respond?
Yeah, well, when your first ball goes for 6, your back is completely against the wall, and especially given the situation for Scotland here now, it's looks like Watt's going to go for damage limitation, the way he just tried to fire that in and angle it in as a leg stump Yorker there.
Conversation between Banton and Curran. Banton came into this game with scores of 2 and 2, but today 56 not out. He's played really well. 126 for 4. England need 27 from 28 as Watt comes around the wicket. Banton taps into the onside after a brief consultation with Curran, which I imagine was something along the lines of, right, we're ahead in this over, nothing silly.
It feels like that might have been it, or unless the message would have been, if it's absolutely in your area, try and wallop it for 6, but let's just take the 1s and the 2s on offer now. A runner ball needed for England, less than a runner ball, just 26 from 27.
Moving in is Watt. Sam Curran on strike. It does go hard at that, into the leg side, between two fielders, yes. That's 4 more, and it was invitingly sitting up for Curran to smack away into the leg side, and he's done just that.
Well, I think what Curran would have said is, you're the in-batter here, you're the person to see this through to the end. I'm relatively new in my innings, but I think I can take him down. Let me take the risks. As a left-hander batting against the left armour as well, it's a far easier hit towards that leg side for Curran, so good tactical play.
Moving in, Watt over the wicket, and Curran goes hard at that, misses, no run. Alistair on the email. Xin Chao from Vietnam on a bus between Hanoi and Da Nang, heading for the beach for Tet New Year, teaching here, lots of kids choosing Western names, so plenty of little Ronaldo and Messi's. Yet to find a Brook or a Curran, but we live in hope. An England double, please. Sam Curran waits for that and swings into the leg side. Fielder running round will pick up in the form of Jones. This over's gone for 12 with the ball left of it. 13, forgive me, that was the final ball of the over. England need 21 from the remaining 24 balls, 6 wickets in hand, they're almost there. Kirsty, what hope for Scotland? What can they do? What will conversations be out there?
Well, it's the worst stage of a cricket game, isn't it? When you feel like you know what the result is and you feel it's slipping away from you, but you have to try something, whether they try a different plan, whether they are able to bring a fielder into the ring and just try and exert a little bit of pressure onto England at this stage. It's so difficult. We haven't seen much sort of short ball tactics, whether they try something like that. It's all about what plan each individual bowler might have to be able to try and create something from nothing. Really is the only option that's left now in England. They'll be thinking maybe about the run rate here as well, actually, and getting this done before it gets to the final over.
132 for 4. A reminder, if England win this game and the game against Italy, they will qualify and they'll leapfrog Scotland with victory in this match, with these two sides having both played 2, 1-1, lost 1. Scotland, who have given a more than adequate account of themselves given the fact that their conclusion of the tournament was so late. Fine victory against Italy, dominant 75-run win. Here comes Wheel. None for 8 from his 2 so far. Outstanding work as Curran goes that hard at it that the ball goes a mile in the air and should drop into the gloves of the keeper, and does. And so Will gets the reward for what his first couple of overs had an economy. His third brings a wicket straight away. Curran goes 28 from 20. It went so high up in the air and eventually dropped safely into the gloves of keeper Matthew Cross, Stephen Fit.
Yeah, Curran thinking, let's just get this done. Cross-seam delivery, maybe just bouncing a touch more than Curran anticipated. A big mow across the line, takes the outside edge, and it did seem to hang forever. For a moment you thought the wicketkeeper wasn't quite close enough to it, but he settled there and took a catch just tumbling forward. So Curran looking to do the right thing, looking to move the scoreboard on and get this game done quicker for England's net run rate, just in case that situation arises towards the back end of this group. Scotland take the wicket. 21 from 23 should be a walk in the park for England, but one more wicket, you just never know, and you have to have that hope if you're Scotland.
Kirsty?
Yeah, I just thought there as I saw Brad Wheel at the top of his mark. I think they could have had him on a touch earlier. He's bowled beautifully so far, and that phase of the game with Banton and Curran just slipping away from Scotland, if that had happened 2 or 3 overs earlier, you just feel they're in an even better position. I know that's hindsight and it's wonderful, but Brad Wheel has been excellent tonight and he richly deserves his first wicket.
Well, it's been seen that has been the more dominant force in this match. Spin bowlers have not had an easy time of it. Liam Dawson very admirable with his efforts, but It's the likes of Mark Watt, who you'd expect to be absolute bankers to be able to show real economy, have just struggled on a surface that has been so much easier than others in this World Cup for dealing with spin. And we've got Will Jacks in the middle for England now, with 21 needed from 23. Banton still there on 57. To come, Dawson, Overton, Archer and Adil Rashid. England need 21 from 23. Scotland need 5 wickets or some dot balls. And there's one of them. Dropping the ball back towards the bowler is Will Jacks. Will's been so good tonight, Finney. What has made his bowling so effective?
Simplicity, a simple game plan. He's not a big bowler of variations, is he really? But he'll run in with energy and try and stick the ball over the top of the stumps with some intent on it and challenge the batters to play across the line.
21 needed from 22 for England. Jacks comes forward, angles towards cover, won't find a run there, stopped by Berrington. The crowd are up and about as they see the scoreboards reading a runner ball needed, but this over has done an awful lot for Scottish optimism, I would say, so far.
Sounds like there's quite a few Scottish fans in the crowd. Every dot ball's cheered.
It does, doesn't it?
Travelling contingents here.
Wheel again, kicking up those heels and running in past the umpire. Swing and a miss from Jacks. Wide signal by the umpire. Actually probably retracted the shot more accurately, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, there's a huge crowd in, around about 50,000 for a neutral game. You've got to say that is so good to see. And also, I think it is testament to what Scotland, who have played their 3 matches here now, have done to ingratiate themselves with the local cricketing public. Good on them, because they've played some fine cricket in this tournament. 20 needed from 21. In comes Wheel. Jacks nudging towards the right of mid-wicket, who dives forlornly, and a couple of runs will be taken to take that equation down to 18 from 20. And England 135 for 5. I think a fair few players 2.5 weeks ago in Scotland colours would be surprised if they were told they'd be in front of 50,000 at Eden Gardens this Saturday night for Valentine's Day. Wheel running in again, and bottom edge almost onto the stumps from Will Jacks, who was looking to swing it out towards Sri Lanka. 135 for 5. England need 18 off 19. There could yet be a twist.
It's the hope that kills you, Henry.
Do you know, Glenn McGrath had never heard that phrase before when we mentioned it in the Ashes, which said rather a lot about Australian sporting psychology. Jacks just tapping that ball into the onside, up on his toes, wants 2, should get 2 as well. Banton to the danger end does very well. He's been out there in the heat, but he gets back for that second run, and England requires 16 from the final 3 overs. He's your hero, Finney. I just love the fact that the notion of hope could be something that wouldn't then be actioned upon to cause victory. It was just so completely off his radar.
Sounds very Glenn McGrath,
doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah.
So 137 for 5, 16 needed off 18 balls. We'll have a full analysis and breakdown of this game in the Test Match Special podcast, as well as reaction and a look ahead towards India-Pakistan. But it's been a good game of cricket, this, Kirsty.
No, it absolutely has, and I think Scotland have as you've mentioned, given a great showing of themselves. They'll be disappointed that they fell a bit short with the bat, and ultimately that is probably what's cost them. You can't really fault their efforts with the ball and in the field. I think they've been brilliant to restrict England on a good surface, as we've been mentioning throughout the whole affair today.
Watt bowls to Banton, who's happy to hit along the grounds and long on for a single. He moves to 58. England need 15 from 17.
Brave call to bring Mark Watt back into the attack. I wondered whether we could have gone with Brad Curry. I know it would be his last over, but with the game teetering, do you bowl your expert death bowler at this phase?
Well, Will Jacks has got a question here. Does he think, let's try and get this done in the next 3 or 4 balls, with Watt having bowled 2 overs, 2.1 overs, none for 36? Or do you think just play it sensibly, get it down to single figures, and then, if needs be, try and chase the boundary? No. Well, he's doing the latter. Finney, what? All these little tactical decisions you make at this phase of a game?
Yeah, I think that's the right option. I think a wicket now would heap a little bit of pressure on England. I think you take 6 off this over, get it down to single figures. With 2 overs to go, you earn the opportunity or the right to have a hack and try and get it done a bit quicker.
Mark Watt round the wicket, into bowl to Tom Banton, who comes forward and smacks it down the ground on the full for a boundary. 4 runs. That was there to be hit, and he does just that.
Well, and you bank on the fact that Watt, as the person who's gone around the park the most today for Scotland, and under the pressure of trying to take a wicket, will bowl you a ball that you can just hit for 4, which just relieves any pressure that there might or could have been. And Banton, because he's been there for this length of time and is timing the ball so nicely, hammers it back past the bowler for 4.
So 10 needed now from 15. England closing in. Scotland need a miracle. Here comes Mark Watt to bowl to Tom Banton, who's deep in the crease and working the ball away for an easy 1. How good's he been today, Banton, Kirsty?
Yeah, brilliant. After a tough patch and after a slow start as well. And I know the situation of the game sort of dictated him giving himself a chance in getting in, but once he's gotten in, he's done extremely well, and he's taken real responsibility of England's batting.
Jacks tries to flash the ball through the offsides. An excellent piece of fielding. I have to say, Berrington electric at short cover.
I think I can't think of a Scottish player who's misfielded.
No.
It's been outstanding.
What a stop, by the way. That would have been 4 runs easily. Here is Watt. Has a cry of catch. I think it might land safely, this, as the fielder runs around, and there is the first drop from a Scotland fielder all tournament. It was about as tough a chance as you could wish to see, and I think it almost feels harsh on Tom Bruce to say, well, he's put down a chance, because it was as tough as possible, dropping over his shoulder and out of reach. End of the over, 8 from it. England need 8 runs from 12 balls.
I'm not sure I'm giving that a drop. He's dived for it and it's landed 4 yards away from his dive.
Did he not get a hand on it?
No,
that's a trick of my. It was a trick of my eyes. Forgive me then.
No, it looked that way, but on the replay there, I think you'd be aggrieved if that was called a drop.
Well, there we go. Still 100% then, Kirsty.
Well, we're yet to see whether there was a little scratch on an under edge to the wicketkeeper that hit him in the knee, which depends how harsh the Zorts of the world are feeling about whether that's a drop catch or not.
Well, it's a subjective thing, isn't it? A drop catch. You never, what point is a good stop? Actually, a chance put down. Wheel is going to bowl now, running in with England heading towards victory, and heading there quickly now is 6 runs from Will Jacks. Smashed away over wide, long on. He hit it so cleanly, and it goes sailing away into the stands below us, and England now just need 2 from 11.
Yeah, it's a good wallop that from Will Jacks. Little step down towards the pitch of the ball, an attempted off cutter by Will, looking to run his fingers down the right hand side of the ball, but it's just straight in the swinging arc of Will Jackson. 95 metres is a lusty blow.
2 needed from 11 balls. England on the brink as Wheel comes running in, and Jacks will swing hard into the leg side. It goes out towards the boundary. That'll do it. Victory for England in Calcutta on Calcutta Cup Day in the rugby. In the cricket here in India, it's victory for England over Scotland by 5 wickets.